the rewards earned by the major summons and the lunar subterranean bosses, so that crystal could be more elusive than it normally is today. But unfortunately, our runners did start out with the crazy old man. Who else are they going to get to start out with? We've
Yang.
got Karate Man Yang. And the Sand Ruby, so no real help in the beginning here, Natara.
Well, the Sand Ruby could be a little bit of help. So for those who aren't familiar with this randomizer, you start with 2 characters, a key item, and an airship, and you kind of get to go and hunt around from there. And what the Sand Ruby as a key item will get you, because thankfully it is a key item, you do get access to another character. So where they only have 2 characters right now, it is possible they could get any one of the rest of the Final Fantasy IV characters in that bed in Kaipo, so that could be excellent.
In before Edward.
Yeah, please not Edward.
Yeah, and it looks like Vitasia is just heading straight to Kaipo to find out who that character is, the Sand Ruby, while our other 3 runners are doing the normal route and clearing out Baron. Rosa is being held prisoner by Kanatsu there in the Baron Inn.
So that is definitely going to be interesting. One thing that happens in this particular randomizer is the boss stats get shifted around depending on which boss location they're in. So that means Kainazo in that spot is going to be quite the joke. And lucky for Vitasia and for everyone else who does head to Kaipo, they get Sid, which is another great fighter from the get-go.
Absolutely. Sid is kind of a jack of all trades. He can melee with his hammers, he can equip bows, he's an excellent archer, and he has really, really high hit points, so not a bad pickup at all.
No, definitely not. And both Yang and Sid are really great from the physical side. Sid is better depending on what gear you get, but Yang gets really great stat boosts based on levels. So definitely 2 great starting party members comparatively to Tella, who, when he starts out, is basically not good at all.
And only gets worse, because some of his stats actually get worse as he levels up.
They do. So one of the strategies you're seeing most of our runners do here now is they are running around and looting whatever chests they can, because one of the flag settings here is T3, which is the 3rd setting of treasure, meaning there can be quite a lot of good treasure just around everywhere, while the shop flags are 2, meaning you're going to get less good items in the shops than you will find in chests. That being said, you are going to see a lot of checking of item shops. Now, why would that be, Phantom Rear?
Because this is a J flag, and if you played Final Fantasy IV US version or North American version, you're going to see a lot of items like the kamikazes that Simbu just purchased that were not in the US version. However, particularly in Randomizer, some of these Japanese-only items are incredibly powerful, and some of them are even key to being able to grind your way to be able to fight Zeromus, such as sirens and coffins. More to follow on that in the future if our runners pick them up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the things we mentioned earlier about these flags is that there are alternate locations to find key items. Like the racers will do have the opportunity and will have to fight some of the extra bosses in order to try and find key items where key items may not have been located in the vanilla game. And what this means is that in some of the locations where you would usually find a key item, they may find treasure. So that's going to be, in some cases, not ideal, because it means you may not get the key item you were looking for. However, unlike the treasure chests, which are only at the 3 levels, so you can get decent but not the best, you can get some really good gear from some of the bosses.
Yes, absolutely. And as we mentioned earlier, with the K2 flag, mixing it up, that puts a whole bunch of possibly really great items and key items in the hardest area of the game, the lunar subterranean. So there might be some significant grinding of levels that our runners have to do before they can actually go out and find those key items.
Absolutely. Now, it looks like Vitasia is heading towards, or a few characters are heading onto Mount Hobbs. Now, while you can't actually get a key item there, that is so long as you fight a boss, there is a character waiting for you there. But though I missed exactly which character was sitting there, turns out Simbu was not interested. They just exited right out.
No, not interested at all, which implies either a duplicate character, because in these flags that we have here, a C1 flag, there are duplicate characters available in the world. So that could have been a dupe, or it could have been, say, everyone's favorite bard, everyone's favorite spoony bard, I should say, Edward.
Yeah, there's very few circumstances in this randomizer, or definitely these flags, where Edward is useful. So most of our folks, if they see Edward before getting an opportunity to take him, will turn right back around and leave again.
So Tasia taking out Dr. Luge, not a difficult fight considering he's at Antlion's.
Ooh, and getting the pass. Now, why is the pass such an excellent key item to be getting?
Because the coders of the randomizer have decided to that nobody really likes running through the lunar subterranean unless they absolutely have to. So rather than the, I guess the cabaret, I guess would be a good way to place it. That was in the original game. The pass will actually take you to a back door into the lunar subterranean where you can walk straight to Zeramus, the final boss.
Exactly. So that is going to be a beautiful item for our runners. So when it comes to quote-unquote go mode, the main items that our runners are looking for is the crystal, which turns the final boss Zeramus into an actual defeatable form. Yeah, it is. Wow. Edward and Golbez on Mount Hobbs. Nobody wants any of that. But yes, so you want the crystal to make the last boss even attackable, and you want to get either the pass or the darkness crystal, both of which gave you access to the moon, which give you access to the final boss. So once each of the runners get both of those items, they are in go mode. So finding that pass is early and in such an easy spot as Antlion is a fabulous spot.
Indeed. And of course, even though the Darkness Crystal gives you access to the Big Whale or the Lunar Whale, depending on which version of this game you're talking about, it is a long, long walk from the castle on the moon through the lunar subterranean to Zeramus. Even with encounters turned off, it is a long, long walk, and the pass bypasses all of that. You'll see Vatasia is purchasing coffins. Those are some very important, very powerful items at certain points of the game. They do cast the Fatal Spell, and for enemies that are susceptible to it, it is a boon.
Absolutely. And the Star Veils that he was also picking up give you the Wall spell, so really very incredibly useful. And the upgraded version of Moon Veils are even better, as they give kind of a full physical invulnerability at the same time. Also, Simbu finding another one of our easy bosses, which is King and Queen Eblin. Definitely a great, great find.
Absolutely, and it looks like Simbu is opting to go ahead and fight them. Can probably get them quicker if you just leave them alone and do nothing. They will eventually die themselves. However, if you can do enough damage quickly, you can defeat them before waiting, because the timer is not terribly long, but long enough that speedrunners don't want to deal with it.
Absolutely. And to react to a comment in the chat, some of the joy of finding bosses in certain spots is just knowing they won't be in a really terrible spot, because some of these bosses, depending on where you find them, can go from kind of a joke to, oh my god, I never realized I could die so fast. And
such as Golbez being one of them.
I honestly don't think there are very many spots where Golbez isn't just terrible. So especially guarding a terrible character like Edward on Mount Hobbs, that is a beautiful, fabulous place to find Golbez.
Yeah, indeed. Because you know you're never going to have to fight him in the game after that point. Now, somebody in the chat did mention the Wyvern boss. If you will notice, the Wyvern flag is 0. It is off. So if our runners have the misfortune to run into a spot that is gated by Wyvern, he will Mega Nuke, and Mega Nuke is generally not nerfed.
No, it hurts quite a lot. You have to be in a spot with the correct items to be able to get a wall up in time, and sometimes that's not even enough to save you.
Exactly. Argent in the bottom right corner is going to go ahead and take out Dr. Luge here. Meanwhile, Smapedy is heading over to Mysidia, checking out its item shop. It does have silk webs, which can be very useful even against Zeramus, and of course the ever-popular life potions. If we need to do a D-Machine grind, those will really come in handy. That and King Ryu grinds as well.
Absolutely, because there are multiple ways that our runners have open to them in order to grind up to the appropriate levels. Leveling is, generally speaking, easier in the randomizer on this set of flags, because on the X2 flags, it means that experience is not shared, and once you get 10 key items, it will double the amount of experience characters are receiving. So it can make it faster, but you do every runner will still need to grind, so those life potions can absolutely come in handy to do a kind of glitch, an accepted glitch even in what is in this set of flags the glitchless category, in order to get a bit of extra experience.
Indeed. And if I didn't know better, I would think we were watching Vitasia and Simbu, that the stream had been doubled, because they are both in the item shop in Mysidia. And as is Smapedy.
Yeah, right now, other than the Earth Crystal, which was gotten at Fabul, they really don't have any progression. And the Earth Crystal, if you're not strong enough, you don't necessarily want to go there yet, because even though it opens up a lot of treasure chests for you to access in Toroya, Tower of Zot has 2 bosses in there, which can get a little mean if you're not strong enough. So, but there are also a key item and 2 characters gated there, so it might be where they have to go next.
Looks like Vitasia and Simbu and Smapedy all are going to try to get Rosa here in Town of Baron. It's possible.
Yeah, especially with the characters they have in that particular slot. Again, Kainazo is going to be basically a joke in that spot, but there is a second boss which is hidden behind that spot, so but it is going to be easier to try than jumping to Zot right away, as Zot is a harder spot. So definitely wish them all luck, because Rosa is one of the best characters to get in this randomizer, so they definitely want her.
The only other option that would be open to them right now is to go up Mount Ordeals, but there's just a key item there and 3 bosses.
Yeah, and depending on who those bosses are, they can be really terrible. So most folks do try and dodge Mount Ordeals for as long as possible. Though Mount Ordeals does give Tella more spells and turn Cecil into a paladin if you have Cecil. Oh, the dolls. Ooh, good chance to have that hourglass too, as you can use it to stop the dolls in the back, which is incredibly useful, because if you leave only 1 doll of a particular color by itself, they will form into the Calcabrina doll, and that makes this fight very nasty. But this should be fairly easy with those items.
Now, of course, as you mentioned earlier, Tella has not yet been to Mount Ordeals, and he does not have his full complement of spells available. If he did, 1 Fire 3 would probably take them all out, and possibly even Fire 2.
Oh, Gaia Drum from Vitasia, which
That'll
casts
work.
the Quake spell. The Quake is one of the best spells, especially multi-target spells. And yeah, if you can manage to get some Gaia Drums. Oh, only a spoon is the item, but it is a key item, so that is 1 closer to 10, but it does not grant progression.
No, it does not, but it is the best weapon for Edge to throw.
It absolutely is, if they find Edge.
Right.
It could just be a hole in the inventory, but they did get Rosa out of that, so that is fabulous.
I mean, there are 2 white mages in the game, 3 if you count Fusoya, but really just 2, because Fusoya's MP is capped out at 190, whereas Rosa and Porom can both get 500 MP if you level them up enough.
Yeah, Fusia is considered the superior character overall, where he also does have access to black spells and like the good ones, unlike Tella, and has more MP. And between Rosa and Porom, usually Rosa is who you're gonna pick, because while they both have excellent white magic, Porom just does not have the HP growth at all.
No, not in the slightest bit.
So just reacting to a comment in the chat, we do have these community races twice every single week. They do happen on 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Monday evenings. Those are on Randomania. And then this race happens every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we're always happy to have more folks. So if this looks like something you might be interested in joining, please come join us. Come join the Discord. You will be able to join just casual races. You can join the weekly races. There are races happening all the time, and we love to see new faces.
Absolutely, and you don't have to be like top tier level to race these games, because I'm not.
I'm not either.
I race this stuff all the time. It's okay. So yeah. I hear that. I hear that from a lot of people that say, "Oh, I'm just not good enough to race." Can you play the game? Then just race. It's okay.
Absolutely.
It's for little SRL points. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Then how do they even work anyways? Let's be real.
Lord only knows.
Yeah, exactly. So we do have a bit of divergent going on here. Simbu is choosing to loot the Teroria treasure hoard, which is fabulous. You can get some really great items in there.
But while
not today, though Vitasia is taking the Manor Deals play, which is a key item. So that could be the progression which is required, and it should be easier than Tower of Zot. So we will see if Simbu is planning to go on to Tower of Zot after all this looting, or whether they will also be making the Ordeals play.
Yeah, the Zot play at this time would be very difficult. Not impossible. With sufficient J items, it could probably be done. Not too terribly many places to grind right now, although some runners will choose to turn encounters on if possible. And it can be done in the E3 flags, and grind a little bit here on Mount Ordeals. There is some experience.
Yeah, we do have Baigan as our first boss, which is not super nice, but not terrible either. And again, these bosses can be a great chance to level up, especially because by default on these flags, E3 means that by default the encounters are turned off, but can be voluntarily turned back on in the custom menu if you do want to grind, and that can be really helpful.
You see Simbu heading on into Zot, getting a little burned there, literally, by the Flame Dog.
Yeah, and fighting the trap chests are really excellent, because even though in this set of flags they don't give you key items, again, they do give you really excellent items that aren't in the regular T3 pool. So, and they're extra experience because they tend to be stronger monsters than regular. So, definitely a good thing to purposely hunt for while you're here.
Indeed. There goes the Flame Dog. Of course, on Simbu's screen, Tella is taking a dirt nap, but like we said earlier, not really that big of a deal, since leveling Tella is essentially irrelevant.
Absolutely, and sometimes having the floor nap helps. Now, I do want to note that Simbu did pick up a silver apple. So what that is, it's a J-only item, which permanently raises a character's HP by 50 when used. So those can be really handy, especially if you have someone in your party with low HP growth. And 50 might not seem a lot, but it can be the difference for some of these boss fights.
Absolutely. And we have, I believe it's Antlion. Yep, Antlion here. Not a terribly good thing here, because Antlion will immediately counterattack all physical attacks.
Though I think in this spot the counterattack won't be too strong, though we'll see shortly. Usually, oh no, it's still pretty strong in this spot. But I think as long as Vitasia keeps Rosa constantly curing there, we'll be fine. And Argent is actually doing pretty well with Baigan as well. Be through that soon, but is going to have more difficulty with Antlion without that healer of Rosa.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Blizzard item there didn't do terribly much damage to the Antlion. The counter is survivable, so, but Vitasia opting to attack with Rosa rather than heal. Of course, Tella can heal, but not nearly as effective.
Absolutely, and Rosa. We do have Leviathan as our first boss in Tower of Zot, so that can be kind of gross. But again, with Rosa there to heal, and it looks like she's been equipped with the Artemis arrows, it might not be that terrible.
No. Oh, wow. That was a nice crit there. 717 damage from Rosa's bow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely going to see...
Tasia's playing and not me.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Rosa can be a really excellent early game fighter if you can get a good set of bow and arrows, especially where she has very few spells at the beginning. So if you can get her a power armor as well, a power robe, even better. But yeah, those Artemis arrows, which were, I think I saw something Artemis being picked up in the Terraria treasure trove, but needless to say, something good was picked up, and that's definitely helping out.
So there's Vitasia going to head on into the sanctuary here on Mount Ordeals. We will find out what key item awaits. Meanwhile, Simbu is slowly chopping away at the mighty tree that is Leviathan.
Yeah, and same with Argent against Antlion. Ooh, so just the white spear for Vitasia. So thankfully, the third boss on Ordeals only has 1200 HP, and it's one of the Mylons. Mylon Z, in fact.
Yeah, shouldn't be that much of a threat to.
No, not at all. Not that spot. So, but it does mean, other than the experience gained from doing those bosses, a bit of a waste. But we'll see. It could end up helping, especially if anyone else goes there, other than Vitasia and Argent. But if Zot is the play, we could see the difference. Oh, Z and Leviathan going down at the same time.
Based on what I've seen, I believe that Zot has to be the progression.
I think it has to, yeah.
I don't think we have access to anywhere else.
No, it was that or Ordeals, so it was kind of pick and choose which is going to be your call, and looks like Zot was the correct call, but we'll see for sure in a moment. We'll see characters-wise. Oh, Kane.
Oh, hello. And that's gotta be Kane! That's gotta be Kane!
Yes. So yes, definitely a character you want.
Without a doubt. And what I was about to say is that Ordeals could still be a play if Cecil is available and on route here. Cecil probably the most powerful character in the game, particularly if a crystal sword.
Yeah, it's Porum, so where they already have Rosa, I personally wouldn't take Porum. But we'll see who takes what. Also, you're welcome. I rolled the seed. Sorry, not sorry. Oh, interesting. Ditching
there is something to be said for Archer Rosa with Porum as the healer. If you can get heroin armor, Artemis bow, Artemis arrows, Rosa can really be quite the fine melee specialist or missile attack specialist as opposed to magic user.
Absolutely. Okay, but it is the Mega Sisters next, but thankfully this is only one slot ahead of where they usually are, but it is the usual Velvalis spot, so that can make things a little tricky, but it should be okay. Interesting that
not choosing to use any of the star veil or I thought I saw star dusts in the inventory. No, star veils. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So it could be a perfect opportunity to use star dust because it would be unaffected by Cindy's wall.
And yes, Velvalis can be an absolute pain depending on where she turns up, but the fact that they're going to Zot first and Kane is in Zot can really help with Val. Val is usually the biggest challenge when you don't have Kane.
Yes. Because only Kane's jump attack can stop her spin, and when she is spinning, her defenses go way up.
Absolutely. Okay, so Smapty getting the Flame Dog fight. Argent coming back down Ordeals, probably also heading off to Zot.
So this, like you mentioned earlier, this is definitely a doable fight against the Mage Sisters here, but oh wow.
Wow, that virus.
Ow.
That was very ow. Yeah, welcome to anyone sitting in Val's spot. Things get a little ouchy. You gotta be careful though, killing off anyone but I believe Cindy, the middle sister, because she can resurrect. So
Yes, she can.
that could be bad.
That's why normally you would go after her first. However, if Mindy is just destroying you with the Delta attack, it might behoove you to get rid of her just so that you can live for another couple rounds.
Absolutely. Yeah, and there we go. Mindy is back. Okay, so, but it looks like everyone is in Zot or about to be in Zot, so definitely be interesting to see how this works out, how everyone plays everything, because not everyone has gone and gotten Rosa.
Right, and that is a key difference there. The ability to heal cannot ever be overstated.
Yeah, it really cannot, especially in somewhere like Zot and with these sorts of bosses.
And Simbu is in trouble here.
Yeah, looks Simbu did save right outside after defeating Antlion though, Leviathan. So he will be able to just walk right back in, but yeah. And thankfully Argent is choosing to try and get Rosa, so that will help him a lot as well.
Definitely going to be a help. I'm not certain if I saw where there were any of the traditional J items that you would use here. If Gaia drums were for sale somewhere, or Stardusts, or some of those items that can cast a non-reflectable AoE attack, but it's not looking good for Simbu over here.
Yeah, it's always the worst when you get the those fights in those terrible spots, which are your gatekeepers, because with these particular set of flags, it is gatekeeping, so it makes sure that I think it's Dark Knight, Cecil, Wyvern, and Golbez, or I think those are the three. There's 3 bosses that they ensure aren't blocking the way as such, but it's only in particular areas. And again, it doesn't block the Mega Sisters from being in Val's spot yet. If this turns out to be too disastrous, that could be added. Yeah. Because sometimes you just don't know how terrible a combination is until you see it in a race such as this, and then you're like, wow, no.
Yeah, indeed. And this can come into play a lot, too, in what we call hook seeds, where your only path to the underworld is via Eblin Cave and Upper Tower of Babel, where if that occurs early on in the game, where you are gated and have to go down to the underworld through Babel, it can be a slog. And I know I personally have forfeited races just based on that. Again, it's doable, but takes some experience that I, as yet, do not have.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's always interesting watching these races to see what different strategies folks come up with. And we saw so many new strategies coming up for some of these bosses in the league alone. You were like, wow, we've been playing this game for how many years, and we never considered doing, certain things.
Simbu pulls it out against the Mega Sisters. Nicely done.
That is definitely good. Just in time for Vitasia to defeat his Leviathan. So that is going to be progress as well. So we will shortly see, after a quick cutscene, what our potential key item is for Simbu. It's got to be progression, though, so it either has to be... Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the hook or the magma key, but it does have to be progression of some sort. Open up something, whether it be, Twin Harp or... the other such places here. Twin Harp it is! Twin Harp. Do I roll them?
Burn the witch!
Do I roll them or do I roll them? Wow.
Apparently so. The only other possibility could have been, correct me if I'm wrong here, Natara, but could have been that our runners would have had to have located the Mist Dragon and pulled the key item from there. But,
that is correct, but the Mist Dragon would have had, there's only a very few number of spots the Mist Dragon could be in the overworld, and some of those places have been checked already. So yes, we will get music, don't you worry, and we're already on Simbu's music, so one of the things which our lovely programmer board has done for this randomizer is he has randomized the Twin Harp music. So every seed we do not know what music we are going to hear. So it's always a joy to play the guessing game of, do I know this tune? Oh, does it
That's
sound
right.
awesome? Yeah, and they all do. They all sound awesome.
I would like to suggest Ryu's theme from Street Fighter 2 for some odd reason be on the harp.
No particular reason though.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
Yep. Yeah, there's some pretty fabulous music, so definitely be interested to see what it is.
And this seed has turned out to be relatively linear so far, not really offering terribly much divergence in path here, so they're all relatively doing the same thing here, but
yeah, they're really kind of walled in, and I'm sure once they get access to the underworld, it will spread out a little more. But yeah, these are the gross seeds because you have no choice. You just have to do what the seed is telling you to do. Okay, so it does look like it's a dark elf right here, but this is the can we die quickly, please, so we can get through this.
Right, and we'll find out what boss replaces him, but this is about the time where you wish you had equipped Tella with something metal, because then the fight would just be over. You'd go straight to Edward playing the harp. So what are we going to hear today, Matara?
Oh, hopefully something. I like the guess in the chat of being Infinity Maginian stage. I love that music. I don't think that's in the queue, but I don't actually know. Let's see.
Be very, very quiet. Be listening for music.
It's FF5.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know the name of this track, but yeah, it's FF5.
I don't either.
It's the sad one.
It does sound very sad.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna cry, Natara.
Oh, no. Don't cry. Then I'll cry. Then everyone will be crying. So it looks like there's no really good items in the item shops in Terraria, which I didn't catch earlier. So it's Vitazia and Smapedy, both versus the Mega Sisters. And we're going to do a quick equip and gearing up here before the Dark Elf boss. Ooh,
and it turns into Yang.
That's gross.
Yeah, he's gonna do a lot of damage if he hits.
And has high magic resistance in this spot.
Yeah. Oh man, but
has the holy weakness.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the kick damage is pathetic.
Indeed.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So what you see Simbu doing there is berserking Rosa, and so if you berserk someone who has a bow and arrow, I'm not sure the exact, if there's like a very particular setup, but there is a way to set it up so they actually have infinite arrows. Oh, no, maybe it didn't. The setup didn't work though. Nope, because Rosa's punching. I love it. That's beautiful. That's okay. Just berserk Sid and you're fine. Yeah, I think you need to have at least 2 arrows left in order to make it work. If you have only 1 arrow, it won't do it properly. But
and
still
when in
not
doubt, jump with King.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you want those levels for sure. And looks like both Vitazia and Smapedy are currently doing well against the Mega Sisters. They both have Cindy down. And Argent is trying to join them. And it's the hook!
Natara, I don't think you're allowed to roll seeds anymore.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. I had to just show you that it's not just Scala Kitty who can make terrible seeds.
And one thing I will say as a public service announcement, when you go through Magnus Cave, as Simbu just did, please ensure that you walk up to the crystal and press A, because that could lead to you forgetting where a key item is and wandering around aimlessly for about 10 minutes while you try and figure out what you did wrong.
Yeah, we've all done it, and like I run the vanilla game speedrun, and we do that there too, and you're just like, no, I just warped out and I didn't get the Earth Crystal by progression. So it's great. Oh, Simbu going to Manor Deals though. Oh, that's gonna lose a bit of time for Simbu, depending on what the others do.
But it might make Tella less useless, so...
Yeah, but they're going to ditch Tella at some point anyways.
There's
in a C1 seed, I can never seed, unless you're just using it for him for an agility anchor, I can never see a single situation where keeping him is useful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But...
So let's Let's see what else they're gonna do here. Because in order to use the hook, you need to go and get the hovercraft, and you need to take it over to the cave. And one of the reasons that can be a bit gross is there are 2 bosses at the top of the Tower of Babel there, which you have to fight. So again, it won't be one of a certain few bosses because of the flag set, but it doesn't mean it won't be some other gross boss.
Indeed. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. However, our runners have had a little bit longer opportunity to find gear and build a few more levels. It's still going to be difficult at the levels at which our characters are, but doable. We'll see.
Yeah, they are starting to get to the point where they have some decent gear, so that definitely helps make up for some not so great levels. And while they are running through these other areas, it is another opportunity to get some items.
Yeah, as you see, they are opening all of the chests because other than the Artemis bow, I don't believe any of our runners have any top tier gear at the moment.
No, I don't think so, no. Doesn't mean they won't find it. Oh, we have the white spear for anyone who's done Mount Ordeals, at least. So that is one good thing that they are going to get out of Mount Ordeals. Oh, look at that bard armor. I always forget that you can walk across that little hole there. Until I see someone do it, and my mind is blown again. Oh, Vitazia having metal on everyone, so that is the way you want to set up that battle, if you can, because it is insta-death, getting you more quickly to that.
Alright, so we're gonna go down to the underworld here shortly after Simbu takes care of Mount Ordeals, and then it's just going to bust wide open with the Sylph Cave, with the Fey March, possibly 3 key items in the Fey March if you can defeat whatever bosses are at Leviathan and Asura. We got Dwarf Castle. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we are being told by chat, we did miss that in the Sandriver Cave there was a heroine robe, which if you put the Artemis bow along with that on Rosa, there's a reason she's been such a fighting machine.
Yeah.
That definitely does very well for her attack. Aw, my Lonzy. We almost missed you for a bit, and your deep ravine.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
I like to pretend.
I can't even lie.
We gotta make him feel welcome, sort of, maybe, before we drop him in the deep ravine. Okay. So it's always interesting to see what characters folks take and keep or dismiss when they do get new characters. So let's see who Arjan chooses to keep and or dismiss. Yeah, getting rid of Tella, smart. I definitely agree with that play.
Don't blame him at all.
Nope. I don't, again, unless you're planning to agility anchor, I see very few situations where you would keep Tella. Though, I will note Vitazia did keep Tella. So...
It's an interesting choice, and that may be just what you were talking about, is that maybe he was, in fact, just using Tella as an agility anchor. So if anyone in the chat is wondering what we're talking about, the final boss, Zeromus's stats are, at least his speed stat, is based on Cecil's agility stat. If you do not have Cecil in your party, however, it will base Zeromus's speed stat on the agility stat of whichever character is in the middle of your party. And obviously, the slower Zeromus is, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely want to, and it goes in multiples of 14, so you want the agility to be like 14, 28, 42, but if you're too close to that number without actually being on the number, it can make things even worse. So one of the strategies to do is to get a character who you don't really care about to one of those multiples, and then just keep them dead for the rest of the seed. So, and as long as they're in the middle slot, providing you don't have Cecil, that goes great. Oh, it looks like Simbu is checking for D-Mist and just finding random moon boss. Don't know which
not
one.
interested.
Hopefully that was Wyvern.
Right, exactly. Because as we mentioned earlier, Wyvern flag turned off, so Wyvern could turn into an instant wipe.
Yep, very easily. Okay, and it is Argent's turn to do the Mega Sisters, while Simbu is getting their hovercraft, but is now behind Vitasia, who has already picked up the hovercraft and is headed into the Eblin Cave.
There will be another character in here as well. It is also our only path to the underworld. Now here is the Staleman, the only trapped chest in Eblin Cave. Good to find it in the beginning, because in case you don't have an hourglass... Oh my gosh, the hourglass didn't stop them.
It does. So what it does is it stops them, but any attacks which have already been queued by the ATB will still happen. So it means they will get their 2 attacks, most likely, but then they are stopped. So, because the hourglasses 1, 2, and 3 do cast stop on any enemies that are weak to that, or they don't have a boss bit on, and that can be really very useful. So it means you can just sit there and kill them.
I've learned something today.
Yeah, those J items are pretty fab, and yeah, I learned that the hard way too. I used it and I was like, but they're not stopped. But yeah. Depending on what queued. So what that means is by doing that, the runners are now safe to pick up all the rest of the gear without having to worry about any sort of trapped chests in there. That was a crystal armor, I believe, for Vitasia, which is the best armor for Cecil, short of the actual adamant armor, if they get Cecil.
Right, and the only issue with crystal armor, and some runners don't like it, is because if Cecil is wearing the crystal armor, he cannot be berserked.
Unless you have the
Avenger sword.
Yes, the Avenger sword. I blanked on the name. I was like, that
That's
sword.
Right.
That sword.
I knew exactly what you were talking about. I'm helping you out here. That's what we have 2 commentators for.
Exactly, yeah, but any other form of berserk just bounces right off. So, yeah, no, but it sells for a lot of money, which is exactly what Vitasia did. And honestly, for most flag sets, you don't want Cecil, because Cecil is not even the best attacker unless you have his best gear. And where the agility anchor just is off of him if you have him, it's just not even worth it. I, generally speaking, don't often choose to take Cecil if I have a choice. Ooh, got some nice Dragoon gear there for Kane, which is nice.
Very nice. Now, Simbu is heading down into the depths. Depending on what bosses are gating here, this could be a snap, or it could be incredibly difficult. We also saw that in the Eblin Cave was just a duplicate forum, so we still have yet to find where Rydia, Edge, or Cecil could be located.
Yeah, and I will note that the boss is either the Water Hag or the Fabu Gauntlet. So, as that is what the sprite is for those. So, we are hoping it is the Water Hag, as since this is just no free lunch 1, it means you can still cheese the bosses. So you just need to hit Water Hag 3 times and they die, which is 1 of 2 bosses is free. And 2... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Unknown in the chat does point out correctly that we have not seen Fusoya either.
No, we have not. So. Yeah, I believe in C1 flags, it does make both Edge and Fu considered to be the best 2 characters in the game more difficult to find.
Yes.
So they are definitely here somewhere, but it might not be. You just might not find them until it's not worth it, or you may not find them at all.
That's the famous Mad Ogre fight.
And as I found out the other day, they are weak to Charm. So if you have Yang and a Charm Claw, that can be incredibly helpful. Yeah, the Gauntlet, you're right. The Gauntlet also there isn't bad because it's not too damaging, and while it's time-consuming, it is the only path, so it means everyone else is going to have to do it too. So you're not wasting time because it's mandatory.
If you gotta do it, it's not wasting time.
Exactly. So it is excellent. But yeah, those mad ogres, if you can get them stopped, could be really great. And Simbu making great use of the vitality glitch, which is if you queue up a life potion or the life spell on a enemy before they die, when they die, you use it on them. But since they have 0 vitality, which is the stat it uses to bring someone back, they technically come back, but then immediately die because they have 0 vitality. But it does mean for every one of those life potions you manage to queue up before they die to cast on them after they die, you do get the same amount of experience from them. So it is a way to farm extra experience.
And we may end up seeing that later with either the D Machines or the King Ryus if we don't find sirens here.
Absolutely. So let us see who the first boss is. Oh no!
Oh.
Dark Knight Cecil.
So normally Dark Knight Cecil is relatively non-threatening. However, as you just saw in this location with these stats, his Dark Wave does really good damage.
Oh boy,
Oh,
yeah.
no. Oh,
And this is a mandatory fight. It is always terrible to come here. Nobody wants to see Dark Knight Cecil here. Like, there are ways to deal with Dark Knight Cecil here, but it is not a fun time. And especially, in that spot, you just walk up and go, well, that's great. Now, because again, this is no free lunch 1, all you need to do is survive. So the strategy, generally speaking, is don't attack, just keep somebody alive. Just cure as much as you can, tank the damage, and as long as someone can survive those few turns it takes for, Cecil to start preaching, you're okay. But with that amount of damage, it can be incredibly difficult. And yes, as Chad is pointing out, you can cheese this fight with Edward. It is one of the few times where Edward is incredibly useful.
Indeed. But when Cecil's wave is taking out all of your healers with one hit, and he's faster than everybody else. Oh, wow. Man.
Oh boy, it's the only time I'm sure anyone's being like, well, I should have taken Edward.
Yeah, right?
Gross, yeah. Lowering the battle speed of your fights can definitely help a lot. If you're ever experiencing a battle which is really a struggle, lowering your battle speed can help. It's not always going to do it, but yeah, Simbu is raised the battle speed back up to normal and is grinding some fights just to try and get that bit stronger in order to take out Dark Knight Cecil, and I think that is a amazing plan considering.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, the alternative is 1, go get Edward. Nobody's going to do that.
Nope.
2, you can't. Well, no, there is no 2. There's really nothing else to do other than grind right now because there's no other choice. You have to get past DKC. That's it. That's all you have. That's all you can do.
And even Edward is behind Golbez, so Golbez immediately kills like a third or half of your party immediately, depending on how many characters you have, and just starts blasting magic at you. And I don't know that he's that bad on Mount Hobbs, but he still won't be super nice.
Right. He's still going to be casting Virus, Lit 3.
Wow. So time for most likely Vatazia's turn to get mowed down. And again, we don't wish this on our runners, but
no,
god.
Not at all. Now, possibly after the first round, Yang or Sid could chug the elixirs, as the chat was pointing out earlier. Because I think Sid and or Yang can withstand, if they're at full health, can withstand 2. So tank the first hit, chug an elixir, and tank the next 2.
Absolutely. And again, if all of them have elixirs, but you don't, in this flag set, elixirs are hard to come by, so sometimes you need those for that Zeromus fight. But that, again, you're not going to get to the Zeromus fight if you can't even get past Dark Knight Cecil here.
Right. It's one of those times, it's like sometimes saving something because you think you might need it later isn't necessarily the best option.
Not at all. And it's Snape D's turn. Oh, using the run buffer strategy. So what a run buffer is if you try and run in a battle which is unrunnable, and then you input a command while the message is up, you can kind of skip attacks and actions into the front of the queue, because while a message is up, the ATB gauge is paused for absolutely everyone in the battle, including the enemy. So it is a good way to sneak in some extra attacks and to save a bit of time, but didn't quite make it there, but excellent strategy.
Let's see if that's the strat that Patasia uses here. Dark Knight Cecil was just so fast that they didn't get a chance to do anything.
Yeah, going for the elixir strat, and that is so smart.
And there it is. So I think, yeah, Sid can survive. And there we go. Simbu has gotten past Dark Knight Cecil.
Best use of elixir I think anyone has seen, and thankfully, not only does the next fight come with a free heal, you do get the opportunity to just leave and go save, so you don't have to try and do it again. So I know if it were me, I would definitely do that in this situation. So,
oh, and it's
yeah.
That's either Water Hag or
Fabul Gauntlet. Yep. So you can always see what that's going to be when you go through the Eblin Cave, because, you know, Rubicante is there.
Oh, that's right.
But, yeah, and Vitasia is making it through too, while Snape D is doing, fighting the Mad Ogres before his wall. And, Argent is, doing their take at the Dark Elf. Well, fake Dark Elf. Wow, this is close between Simbu and Vitasia currently.
That's sync, though.
That's sync. Yeah, Fabul Gauntlet. Gross. But again, I would rather have a time-consuming fight like the Fabul Gauntlet sitting in a spot where everyone has to do it, because then it's just like, the seed's longer, but it's not losing you time. Yeah, the Gauntlet can hurt here, but not too badly. Honestly, it's pretty good, especially with Rosa here. It's not too bad. Or shouldn't be.
Indeed. And although it's not terribly effective, he does have Tella to cast Cure spells in an emergency and life spells in an emergency. Most of the healing obviously going to be done by Porum, but there's some emergency backup there with Tella if needs be.
Yeah, absolutely. Simbu trying to get the kill on that general, because you can actually kill that general, and if you can, it is extra experience, yeah.
And who doesn't like a little bit of extra XP?
Right? Yeah, definitely fabulous. So, it is, and those guard fights, there's 3 of them in the Fabul Gauntlet. Those are the hardest ones. The other 3 fights in between aren't so bad.
No, not at all. As you see, the Water Hag hitting Rosa for that huge total of 1 damage.
Oh no!
It's almost like Rosa had the adamant armor on.
What? That would be fabulous.
Wouldn't it, though?
Yeah, I always love seeds where you get not just 1 adamant armor, but like multiple. You're like, excellent. Now I'm doing it.
When you play a, was it T4, S4, where they could be found in shops?
Yes. Especially when it's free.
Free, yeah. Yep, exactly. When it's $3. Yeah. Did one of those the other night. Oh, look, adamant armor's in the shop, and they're free.
They're good palette cleanse. Yeah, they're a good palette cleanser there. You're like, excellent. And yes, some of the runners, Vitasia I know, did pick up coffins. So, yeah, I will note, I don't know if that changes in this spot, but you are correct. The Fabul Gauntlet, generally speaking, even though the boss music plays, does not have the boss bit. So, I don't know if having it in this spot gives it the boss bit, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So yeah, the coffins could be used, but honestly, I wouldn't bother wasting them. Because usually you get those for the grind, egg grind.
Yeah, exactly. If nothing else, one of the first things they'll be able to do when they hit the underworld will be to do an egg grind. And since Ordeals has been completed,
did they find sirens though? Because you can only do the egg grind if you have sirens, because as I learned the hard way, you can go on that little peninsula and walk around, and you'll find lots of eggs, but they won't be the eggs you're looking for. They'll be like 200 XP, and you're like, what?
Yeah. It's a fair point. I did not recall anybody finding sirens yet,
Yeah,
but
no,
there are 3 shops in the underworld, 4 shops that could contain them. So
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, this is not yet proven to be a sirenless seed, which is great. And yeah, I know I personally save my my coffins to where I need them, because sometimes those dark imps, which are a joke fight when they're in the Tower of Babel, can be really, really merciless and terrible when you find them in some slots. So I like saving them for them as well. Also, Argent is making the call to go through the Eblin Castle, which is really good because it has extra gear. Plus, it has 3, I believe, trap chests, which is not only more experience, but you can potentially get some really excellent items. So this could really help, especially knowing what we know about the Tower of Babel.
Ooh, not finding much so far over there in Eblin Castle. Meanwhile, Simbu down to Rosa and Sid. I mean, if you're going to be down to 2 characters, these are probably the best 2 to be down to
and
right now.
I think this is the last fight. It's either the last or it's the 3rd one. I hope it's the last one, though.
Yeah. For Simbu's sake.
Yeah. By the fights goes, Simbu was ahead of Vitazia. So, and Vitazia is on the 5th fight. So, this should be the last one. Which means, yeah, it was. So, Simbu is through. Excellent. So we are going to start seeing, hopefully, or potentially, some deviation in the pathing from everyone here. So it'll be interesting to see who goes where first. And where would you go once you got Underworld access like this, Ryu?
So it depends on how you want to play it. I personally would prefer to check Sylph Cave and Fey March, because that's essentially 2 free key items.
Absolutely.
Right? And when you're playing with the flags where 10 key items equals double experience, even if they aren't the key items you're looking for, they're gonna help you later on when it comes to your pre-Zeramus grind. So that's probably where I would go first. Your mileage, of course, may vary.
Absolutely. I know I always tend to, unless I have a particular key item which helps me in the underworld, which these runners do not have, I always start with the Fey March, because it could direct me to somewhere in particular in the underground, or barring that, it depends on what my mood is, to whether I go to the Sylph Cave, which again, like you say, opens up at least 1 key item. Sometimes there's Tower of Babel, but I like to skip those things which cause potential double dipping where I can. Dwarf Castle's a great place to go because it has a lot of gear, it has an item shop, and potentially a key item and another character.
But it looks like Simbu was just using Dwarf Castle for the shop. I'm sure the castle feels terribly used now. Yeah. So this is another option too, looking around for the item shops. As I mentioned, there are 3 down here in the underworld. And if you find something great like, say, sirens, which are not, unfortunately, here in Tamra, that could sort of help you out.
There's only really 1 place left to check that isn't on the moon, and that will be the Fey March. If they get both the adamant rock and the legend sword, they can also open up 1 last item shop, but that tends to have just completely random things. But otherwise, they're gonna have to hope that it's on the moon, and by that point, you probably will just do the Ryu grind on the moon.
Yep. So the item shops not helping at all here for Simbu. You got to think it's Sylph Cave and Fey March now. Meanwhile, Vitazia going straight to Fey March.
Absolutely. And the Fey March can also be great on this set of seats, because on K2, there are those 2 bosses in both the Ashura and the Leviathan spots. So depending on who they are, you could have a free boss. But that being said, we have seen King and Queen Eblin, we have seen Dark Knight Cecil, so I think that only leaves Water Hag really for the free type bosses. So, because those are pretty mean spots.
Yeah.
So yeah, dodging all the chests in here, because there is 1 trap chest, and with those damaged tiles, it's often just not even worth it to hunt through. Some people will save outside and then test out the first few and go back in. Ooh, so that is the darkness crystal which Vitasia found. So it is technically not a go mode item because they all have the pass already. But it does give them access to the big whale, which gives them proper moon access, which gives them the Ryu grind, and it gives them access to the Giant of Babel, which gives them access to the D Machine grind, providing they have someone who's weak.
Very nice item here in the Feymark shop. And as I say that, excuse me, it's the Bacchus wines. I almost forgot which one it was. That will automatically put a character into Berserk status. Of course, Berserk, considered by many to be the best spell in the game, particularly when in combination with Cecil or Kane. But
yeah, definitely a very good status effect, and by using a Bacchus wine, you can berserk yourself. So very helpful, especially against the final boss of Zeromus, who likes to nullify all status effects like that. So you use it, your mages can be doing their own thing like healing and or attacking, and then the fighters can just refresh it themselves if it gets that far. Ooh, Bahamut and Ruby.
Yeah.
Or the elements.
So if they have enough Star Veils, this could, and Vitasia does, so this should be, I'm not going to say academic, but it should be relatively easy for, it'll be relatively academic, because Bahamut doesn't do anything but cast Mega Flare or Mega Nuke, depending on which version you're looking at, so
absolutely.
Bahamut will go down.
Yep, bouncing that Mega Flare is lovely. So that is definitely enough to get through it at least once. I don't know if that singular Mega Flare is enough to kill Bahamut one shot at this fight, but I think 2 will definitely do it for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, and saving, I don't know if Kane got a Star Veil there. Because I think they have to refresh it after 1 Mega Nuke. Unsure, though. I can't actually confirm that.
I can't either. And it also seems, and somebody I'm sure will correct me here, but it also seems that there is a little bit of RNG built into how long walls stay up.
I'm not sure that it's RNG so much as around the wall, but RNG around the damage. I think it has to do with the amount of damage done. So again, please correct us if that is not correct there. But where we've got Tella in Simbu's party, that actually is really helpful, because after having gone to Ordeals, he does have walls. So even with no Star Veils, or not many Star Veils, that's going to help a lot.
Oh, and Vitasia gonna wipe there. You were correct. The wall did not stay up.
I did not think it. I was pretty sure it would handle 1 Mega Nuke, and that was it. But Simbu did make it through. I'm sure Vitasia will make it through this time, though. If he chooses to do it again. Let's see what we get, though.
Oh, just Ninja Gear.
Which is nice, but not even really for the party we have. It's just kind of a wah-wah item, so, which is too bad.
Yeah, and Simbu just gonna nope on out of there. Can't say I blame him. Rubicon or Fiends in that,
spot is
in that position. Nice. Highest physical attack in the game. Ooh. Couple swipes from Rubicon, or no, not Rubicon, but any physical swipe, like from Ovalis, would be really bad.
Really gross, yeah. And Merc, that's interesting, because so what about that makes it go after 1 hit for Bahamut? Just no one has high enough will, or what? I'm trying to learn about this wall thing, because I've always wondered that. Like, I've known, it's so many turns, and that I've never seen it last more than 1 turn for Bahamut. Doesn't mean it won't. So Simbu just talking to Yang there, which does trigger the ability to go talk to Sheila and get a key item.
Oh, Sheila. Oh, sorry, I can't resist. Only old guys like me remember that song. It's okay. It's like 1984, 83, something like that. Yeah.
I wasn't known for listening to much of that genre of music. But yeah, so we're gonna check Sheila, who is sadly not even named in this game. In this game, she's just Yang's wife, but in future editions, she is properly named Sheila. Okay, let's see how Vitasia does this time with Bahamut. I'm sure we'll do much better. Argent is heading now into Eblin Cave. We will see how he enjoys the Dark Knight Cecil Wall. And Smapety has also joined them in the underground, in the Fey March.
And nothing doing, just a glass helm at Sheila.
Just a nice helm.
Well, I mean, until you start getting magic attacks.
Yeah, the glass helm is one of the best helmets in the game, if not the best helmet in the game. Basically, it's between it and Ribbon for a lot of the characters for the best helmet. But definitely good, but the sadness is not a key item.
Nope.
So the hunt continues, but there's still lots of underground places.
Yeah, I find it really odd, too. Notice how we are completely keyless so far. No keys whatsoever. It's just interesting. And with so many of those gates, so many places. Obviously, right now, the magma key is completely irrelevant. But the others...
Yeah, it does have a neat effect if you drop it into the well after you've unlocked the underground and gone back up. But... Would be interesting. So let's see what Dwarf Castle has for us. Dwarf Castle does have a key item and a character, but has 2 bosses.
Yeah, not terribly many HP at the first boss, but so we got CPU. We got the bouncing gray ball of death.
I don't like CPU. CPU has killed my party one too many times because I killed both of the front attackers.
Everyone's favorite Globe 199.
Yeah, definitely don't do that. Okay, so what happens? I think you should play the game and try it yourself. I don't want to ruin the fun.
Natara, you're such a tease.
That's me. I'm here to tease you. Do it yourself. Play our cool randomizer.
Cool
A one-line explanation. You start with 2 characters, 1 key item, and an airship. There you go. That's all you need. Finish
what
the
is
game.
this, a Bethesda game? You're on your own now.
Oh, now you're on your own. Have fun. But yeah, you're just collecting key items, wandering around. Eventually, there will be progression. Have fun. So the big thing with CPU, do not kill both the attacker and the defender. Globe 199 will destroy your characters. Luckily only 3 before the CPU then resurrects both the attacker and the defender. You want to kill the defender first, otherwise they're going to consistently cure CPU while you're trying to damage it.
And it's just a straight 99 damage. I don't think it matters what armor you're...
I don't think I've ever seen it do less. It doesn't mean that it doesn't, but I certainly haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't either.
It's very mean. Yeah, the great thing about this particular randomizer is that it's very customizable with the flags, so you can set them to incredibly easy. Oh no,
Simbu
you're
just berserked.
Oh no!
Sid. Oh no!
Simbu knows what they're doing, so we just have to hope. Providing he's done enough damage, and again, it's only going to kill 3, so as long as you also have life potions, you can recover from that.
True.
And Gaia there you go.
That could just be math.
Yeah, hey, for me, if I ever do something like that, I pretend it's math, but it's always luck. But for someone like Simbu, I can definitely see, I know plenty of runners who actually do the math. There are documents that we have which say how much HP and stuff each boss has in which spot, so the math is possible.
Well, as is on a record of trial out there somewhere, I did say in court, I am a lawyer because I can't do math. So... we're just going to leave it at that. We have Palom, the Quake Kid. Yep.
Love it. And those Dark Imps. That's gross, but I think there's worse spots for them. I think I found them on the moon, and they were doing like 1,500 damage each, and I was like, why? Why would you do that? Yeah, mean as heck. So... looks like Smapety is doing the dip into the Sylph Cave, Vitasia is doing their own fight onto the CPU, and Argent is in their menu. Oh, they're doing the silver apples. I wouldn't. Yeah, they backed out. I think that's smart. You don't want to do silver apples to Porum. You just want to ditch Porum. I love Porum, don't get me wrong, but she does not have the HP growth.
True. Yeah, you might want to do that with well, you want to wait for if he knows he's going to get Palom, you'd wait and do that with Palom.
Yeah, exactly. Palom, you do want to keep his spell growth and his how he learns his spells is so much faster than most of the other characters, as Simbu is learning, and you can, at the set of experience seed, you can actually slingshot characters. If you have someone who is way under leveled comparatively to everyone else, they get a lot of extra experience. So Quake Kid already has learned Quake, so he is a powerhouse.
Hey, there we go.
Yep. Okay.
There's a reason we call him Quake Kid.
Yes, there most certainly is. So Arjan's going to do their next try at Dark Knight Cecil after their personal mowing down. Smapety has found the Bacchus Wines in the Land of Summon Monsters, and we are going to see what key item we get from the Dwarf Castle.
Oh, just the light sword.
Not even the best sword for Cecil. It's like the third best sword for Cecil.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it is, and especially if you have no plans to get Cecil, especially since no one has found Cecil yet. Yeah.
Yeah, don't know if anybody would even. Yeah, you might swap out Cecil for Yang, or swap out Yang for Cecil. I mean.
Again, if you have like crystal armor or an adamant armor and say the X-Scal or the crystal sword, that's probably the only circumstance I would ditch literally any character for Cecil. But sometimes you just start with Cecil and you gotta make do, especially if it's C3. If you have the character's 3 flag, you will only get 5 characters. Anyone else is going to be a duplicate of those 5. So it helps you kind of learn what the good qualities are of each of the characters, if there are any.
It seems, though, that every time you run a C3 flag, you inevitably end up with Tella, Edward, or both.
Yep. Though you often also get Fu, Edge, or both. So you get a bit of a balance, generally speaking, though I have seen some pretty mean parties. Okay, so let's see where we are heading next. Simbu heading to the top of the Tower of Babel, and without the tower key, so unless it is the tower key at the top here, that will be a double dip. Oh, random moon boss. Let us see which random moon boss it is.
Will it be? And this creepy music.
I don't like this music. Ooh, we have Vitazia getting the whale. Ooh, Wyvern! No! Hey, Wyvern is defeatable here with enough run buffers like Simbu is doing. No, did not get the Star Veil up in time.
Ow.
Ow. Very ow. But again, if you can just work that agility well enough, you can do it. So yeah, he's gonna wiggle around and find out who has the lowest agility and stick them in the middle. It's always nice having something like a cursed ring or a dwarf axe if someone can equip it, because it allows you to artificially lower stats. The cursed ring, I think, lowers every stat by 10.
Something like that, yeah.
It's 10 or 15. I believe it's 10, though. I always think it's 15 because I always use it with the dwarf axe. But you'd think it's bad, but for agility manipulation, it's beautiful.
Indeed. So both Smapety and Vitasia are heading off to the moon. We will see what is in the Namingway shop or the Hummingway shop.
The Hummingway shop, yeah.
Yes, and what character is awaiting in the castle should they decide to go check it out.
Come on, sirens. Nope.
Yeah.
Unless they're hiding in the Excal shop, this is a sirenless seed, so we will not see that egg grind. So that leaves us with the options of killing doors if in the sealed cave, if they find the Luca key, which has not yet been found, doing the D-Machine grind on the giant if and when Palom gets weak, or if they still have Tella has weak, or doing the King Ryu grind on the moon. That's going to be interesting. Okay, so the curse ring is 15, minus 15. That always stuck with me, but and I know Dwarf Axe brings it down another, I think 5, but drop some more. Who have we got on the moon?
A mop!
Is this even randomized?
I know, right? But we do have a mop on the moon.
Our favorite mop.
Everyone's favorite mop.
Accurate. So that is an interesting conundrum, because at this point, have you leveled up enough? Yeah, if you have the choice between Fu, who tends to come fairly powered up, and Porum, yeah, I would always ditch Porum for Fu. And I believe these flags do have Fusuya Challenge on, or do they?
It's Fusuya 2.
Yes, it does. It's Fu 2. So what that means is Fusuya, by default, starts the seed with 500 HP and 6 random spells. And for each boss you defeat, he gets another 100 HP and another 3 random spells. So at this point in the seed, he will have, if not fully powered, he will have a lot of stuff. So he's actually fully powered looking at his HP. So that is an excellent find. I always look for the F like at the end of the flag, so I look and I'm like, I don't see it, but it's always in the middle. Yeah, so yeah, that is a fabulous.
Yeah, our runner's clearly done enough bosses by now to power them up. So now the question is, where are our key items, man?
Well,
we have access. Yeah, we have access to the moon, which means
Moon
by
bosses.
logic, they're all accessible.
So, yep. It is Moon Boss time, potentially. So will there be value in Cave Bahamut, or are they going to take Fu and run back to the underground? Because with all of his spells, he has things like Nuke and Quake and White and Wall. So he's got just a lot of really excellent spells. So that can be very helpful. Vitazia is doing the giant grind because also has Weak.
Indeed, and Smapedy is just saying, I'm going to rush the lunar subterrane because why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Good call. And especially, again, depending on which bosses are there. There's just 2 or 3 bosses right next to a save point on the moon. So it's a great thing to just rush that save point and then start checking things out. And that is also a good location to turn back on encounters and start running around. And no, we have not seen D-Mist anywhere. So good old D-Mist is hiding somewhere. And so those who are not familiar, we are currently on no free lunch. So what that means for flags is, rather than Edward hiding in the bed in Terraria giving you a key item, as in Vanilla, instead, the key items are locked behind things. So his free item gets locked behind the D-Mist. So once you have found and defeated D-Mist, you can go to Mist and talk to Rydia's mother, who will give you a key item instead.
And we have Simbu also opting to go down into the lunar subterrane. Meanwhile, Vitasia doing the D-Machine grind. So Vitasia will probably be able to level up his party much quicker. D-Machine grind, probably the quickest in the game, depending on how many life potions you have. But this is going to be very interesting here, because if Smapedy and Simbu can get past the first couple boss fights in here, they'll be at sufficient level to make grinding here on the moon much easier. So this could be close, depending on the location of the crystal.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it could be very, very interesting. And I will note that Argent has made it past through the Wrecking Ball of Dark Knight Cecil and is just fighting their way through the Football Gauntlet. So they are about to continue their progression, though they're not going to quite enjoy where that's bringing them.
Indeed. Smapedy encountered lunar dragons at the Vanilla Ribbon spot, so noped on out of there. We have the Mom Bomb.
Ooh,
should be
interesting.
Doable.
Yeah, though she does punch, as we saw, for quite a lot. Ow.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, this is pretty mean. Doable potentially. I don't think I could do it, but With spells like Nuke, it might definitely be doable. Using Virus, interesting. Could be an MP saving. Oh, does he? Oh, his foo isn't fully powered. I see 1500 HP, which means he probably doesn't have Nuke yet. Oh, gross. That's gonna be not so good, but definitely possible. We'll see. And Vitazia just trying to find that grind fight. There is a way. There is a manip that you can use in order to find the grind fight, but unknown if he's using it or not.
One, I don't know if he's using it. Two, I certainly don't know enough about it to be able to tell if he is or isn't.
From what I know about it, I don't think he is, because it tells you, you know, if this isn't the grind fight, you have so many more fights to go, or it just tells you to reset right at the beginning. So by the fact he was attempting to fight a Mac Giant would indicate that, not 100% sure. And it doesn't look like he's counting steps, so...
No, it doesn't.
No, so he's just hoping to luck into it. And I wish him luck, but that can be difficult.
Yes. Alright, so Simbu is taking on the Lunar Dragons here, not resetting.
No, and with having both Quake Kid and Fu and 2 white mages, I think that is pretty doable, honestly. Yeah, I think that's worth a try for sure. The big thing is they will counter physical attacks by casting Wall on themselves and bouncing infinite viruses, and it's looking like, though I can't confirm, Jump may not count as physical for that, because
I don't think it does.
I don't think it does, because he just did it and it didn't do anything. So that actually means he's kind of got the dream team there for fighting these folks, and that will be a lot of experience as well. Smapey, on the other hand, noping out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Now, it does look like Vitasia has the correct fight here to do the D-Machine grind.
Could be the Horseman. We're going to see shortly. You definitely don't want the Horseman. That is a less good fight. Though some people do choose to do the grind fight with the Horseman, but we are ideally looking for the D-Machines. Yeah, so... definitely going to see that shortly. So let's see what they summon. You gotta give that searcher a smack. Oh, it is the Horseman. Boo! Oh, Lunar Frogs. That would be great. Getting some nice. So this actually, the strategy that Simbu is using was discovered during the Highway to the Zenith Zone League. I personally have not figured out the strat myself to use it, but I know it involves something to do with the D-Lunars. Eventually they will use Breath, or I think it's a counter to certain moves, and if you have a wall up, they are weak to frogs, so they will breath themselves and turn themselves into frogs, making them a joke. Because they can't use magic, and they cannot hit you for any damage. 5 turns and they use breath. Gotcha. Well, I've always wanted to know that, because I'm like, I want to do the strat. Now I too can do the strat.
And it looks like after one round of Horseman, Vitasia is saying, "Yep, that's enough.
Yeah.
I need to find the D machines. I came here for the D machines, and I will accept no substitutes."
Yeah, and it will absolutely give him some experience to start, which can help. But yeah, you accept no substitutions. Just take those D machines.
These are not the machines I am looking for.
Yeah, not at all. So, Smape D's turn to fight the ever wonderful CPU. Not too worried about that fight there.
I believe that's your favorite boss, right?
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Actually, the boss that I really hate the most is the dolls. We're not friends. Yeah, me and the dolls are not friends. Actually, I don't mind them in the randomizer, but in the vanilla game, we are not friends at all. Looks like Argent has made it to the land of the summoned monsters, so hopefully getting those Bacchuses, and hopefully giving a chance to fight that boss there. So we'll see how that Bahamut goes. Yeah, because it's Bahamut in that spot. Simbu almost done with the de-lunars, I think.
Gotta be close. I do love how they're counterattacking with fire and nothing is happening. There it goes. So Simbu successfully, and look at that, 6 levels, 4 levels. Yeah, nice little fight there.
Yeah, definitely what you want. And helps with nothing else. Plus, you get 2 chests. Ooh, so we get the package.
2 key items.
Yep, which is great. The packages only gives you a character and a boss. So unless they're really stuck, they're not going to use that because it could be the Demas there. And the tower key, which gives them another key item from the Tower of Babel.
Still looking for that ever elusive crystal.
Yeah, absolutely. But we have finally found the D-Machine grind from Vitasia. So not bad because they are weak to weak. So providing you can get your ATB set up correctly, you can get some pretty great experience because you can get 2 life potions off and you just keep smacking that searcher. Oof. Now it's time for Mom Bomb for Simbu, which is less than good. This would be a great fight to have those moon veils, but I don't know that anyone has found any at all.
No. We got star veils, but not the moon veils.
And Mom Bomb really just does not use any magic, so not helpful. Though, using Image there, excellent move. Making you immune for a few turns or a few hits from physicals.
And considering that's all Mom Bomb has.
Yeah, that is excellent, excellent strategy.
Until, of course, she explodes.
Yeah, well, that shouldn't be too bad. I'm not sure what the magic damage is like in this slot, or if that is even magic damage, but I think it is. And those individual bombs should hopefully not be doing as much damage and are easier to kill. Just a Quake or 2 should be able to take care of them. Did you say Berserk Rosa? Our only Berserk character more favorite than Rosa is Berserk Rydia. But alas, not in this seed. Okay, and see how Arjan does with the Bahamut fight here. Hopefully has some walls up. Yeah, I believe this is the... Actually, no, I'm not sure. I always mix up exactly which spots are which in the underground. My tracker tells me what item you get from each of them, so I still, to this day, have no idea which vanilla boss is in each spot.
I'm the same way. Don't feel bad.
Commentary cannot confirm.
That's right.
I think vanilla Mom Bomb's in this spot.
Wait, what?
Love Nuke. Nuke's such a good spell. I also love killing Mom Bomb before she gets to either 2nd or 3rd phase.
Yep. And only a defense sword for the troubles.
And some extra experience, so, you know, not bad.
You want to talk experience? Vatazia's got experience on lock over here.
That is correct. That is definitely what you want to see. So even though Vitasia is not doing the hunting on the moon and eliminating those spots, he is going to have an easier time once he does choose to progress because he's going to have his levels. And again, every one of these runners is going to have to get their levels before they go for Zeromus anyways. So if you're in a spot where you have your party, you have the ability to grind, sometimes that is the best next move. Go get your levels and then you're just set to just blast through some bosses.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you can get, as long as you're certain that this is probably going to be the party you're going to complete the game with. And Vatasia has a party that I think most people would be just fine with clearing the game with. Then go ahead and do your grind when you can, because it makes everything else just so much quicker. And at the Mesamune spot, we've got Octomammoth. Oh, man. That had to hurt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, now look, Octomam. That's fabulous. So Octomam is gross in any spot really, because Octomam in its vanilla spot is the fastest boss in the game at the beginning. So you definitely want to just get as many hits as possible, as quickly as possible, to get rid of some of those arms, because for every arm that Octomam loses, he does slow down. So that is going to be the priority, unless you have what it takes to just absolutely kill Octomam right off the bat, which on the moon is less likely.
Highly unlikely. Now this, Vatage's been sitting here on this D-Machine fight for quite some time now, but the amount of experience that Vatage is going to get once he finally decides to end the grind is going to be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, because from what I've been seeing, he's been getting 2 life potions in per D-Machine, which is great. Snape D did get 2 Wyvern, and also sat and cried a bit. Oh, but is going to go back in with battle speed 6 and might save inside the tower this time. We'll see. But yeah, definitely we'll see. It would be interesting if that's progression.
It could be, and that's another reason why Vatage's grind could end up being incredibly fortuitous here, is because obviously higher levels, you're more likely to be able to survive that Mega Nuke.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, there's nothing like fighting early bosses on the moon to show you how mean those moon spots are. It's not so much that those moon bosses are mean, though they are also mean, but just that location, some of them are just gross. Ooh, Argent also trying, it is Rubicante in that other Feymarch spot, not the elements. So, Argent giving it a good try though. Let's see how it goes. And yeah, now that we're getting down to 1 tentacle for Octomam, starting to resurrect some of the crew, trying to get them some experience. So, did manage to get Palom up, and that's definitely going to be nice. Let's see what we got.
Drumroll, please. Oh, it's the pan.
Ooh, so that is interesting.
Yeah, some of my friends that play this with me are convinced that the crystal location is biased towards Sheila.
You know what? I can't argue with that, because if Sheila doesn't have the crystal, Sheila often has like either access to the moon or something which leads you and that you're required to get in order to get one of those items. And she very often just has the crystal. You're like, Sheila with the goods. It's why another reason why a lot of people will rush Sylph Cave, because just the percentage of times where Sheila has just got the goods. And let's see if it pans out this time.
Oh, 813,000 experience from Vatasia on the D-Machine grind.
Might be enough, yeah. Yeah, Rosa got all of her spells. Let's see if he goes into the menu there. Oh, level 51. That is beautiful. That is exactly the sort of levels you want. Oh, Argent gets Crystal Shield. Gross. Argent definitely going to be happy about that.
Of course. Cell's good.
And it looks like Smapety is actually making some Wyvern process. Survived that first Mega Nuke. So that is...
interesting strategy. Let's see if that pays off for him.
Yeah, well, again, if it turns out that Wyvern has the crystal, that is going to give Smapety a huge lead. Oh, Water Hag.
Water Hag.
I love it.
It's a great place to find Water Hag. Come on, Smapety. I want to see Wyvern go down. Everyone wants to see Wyvern go down, and go down hard. There we go!
Oh, let's see. I really want it to be a crystal here. Let's see what it is.
That would be amazing. It would put Smapety in a huge lead.
Huge lead. Let's see what it is. Oh,
no.
Murasame. Wah wah.
And not a ninja in sight.
Okay, let's see what the Water Hag has. Those 3 hits make it easy and still get some fabulous levels, because even on the moon, or being on the moon, gives some good experience there.
Ooh. Yeah, Pigtail, great. And particularly with these flags, this is likely the only adamant armor that anyone's going to see, so always like to see the adamant armor.
Yeah, you absolutely do. It'll be interesting to see whether Vitasia turns that in right away, or sorry, Simbu turns that in right away, or whether they decide to wait and whether they get the rat tail or not and turn them in together. I see some interesting strategies with the pink tail. Sometimes people get it and just beeline straight to get it to make things easier, but yeah, we'll see what happens here. Yeah, not going to be the case. Going to fight some more moon bosses. Yeah, to be fair, Simbu is technically grinding right now because all of these moon bosses give so much experience. If he's got to fight them anyways and has enough experience to do so, he's getting experience while doing it. So it could be interesting because, again, providing everyone else is also fighting these spots could save him some time.
There are a lot of bosses here in the Lunar Subterrane where the key item could be, but as you mentioned, or as we mentioned, Sheila seems to be an awfully tantalizing prospect at this point.
Yeah, really, especially with that pen and being on the moon and everything. But there's nothing worse than coming up on the moon, getting a key item, leaving, finding out it didn't have what you wanted, and having to come back. But on the other side, there are people, if you stay on the moon getting all of the bosses while someone else grabbed the item and ran and it was the correct item, it's that balance of risk versus reward. Yeah,
and that's absolutely what makes watching randomizer races so exciting, is because it's those little decisions that can be the difference between victory and defeat. And it's not just somebody's twitch reflexes or memorizing the game, or figuring out how to manipulate spawns, etc. It's about making decisions, making gambles, and that's just exciting, even if it isn't going to be like a 100% chance that these things work.
Absolutely. And yeah, Simbu may need to grind after these fights, but by doing all of these boss fights, and again, taking advantage and using that vitality glitch while he's fighting these bosses anyways, definitely giving him a good lead on those experience, so won't have to do as much grinding, that's for sure.
And Vitasia using Cure 4 on the Lunar Dragons, that very nice strategy there. They are undead, so they do take damage from healing spells.
I do want to report that we have officially had someone finish the race. Not one of our 4 displayed, but Rivers McCown has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 50 seconds. So it's interesting to find out where those items might be. There's definitely somewhere that someone could have finished by now. So
GG.
Oh, and apparently it was a snipe, because coming in second was Silver Star 6609 with the second place with an official time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 25 seconds. Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, getting Gungnir from that last fight from Simbu was definitely nice, but definitely not what he was looking for.
No, it's nice, but it's not as nice as the white spear, although the Gungnir does have its uses.
Absolutely. So, and definitely not the key item we were looking for, and it looks like Simbu has moved on to grinding and has turned on the random encounters.
And Smapty having some problems here with Rubicon.
Yeah, it's a very mean fight in a very mean spot, so not so great. I did notice Simbu's levels appear to be around 47, 48, so it does mean he doesn't need to do much grinding, just, the fighting these fights while walking back could definitely do it for him.
He's only a few levels. Remember, Vitasia did the D-Machine grind, only got up to about 51, so...
Exactly, so that's and there's definitely people who have finished these seeds with high 40s, so Simbu not needing a lot. Also, want to note, in third place, Zilch has finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 35 seconds, so those finishes are coming in quickly now.
And Smapty unfortunately taking a wipe to Rubicon, but as we mentioned before, and at this spot and that particular boss, it's just mean.
Yeah, and as pointed out in chat, with 10 key items as Simbu has, that does give him double experience. So definitely an extra good thing to be fighting these random encounters here, because you'll get even more experience. And the moon, just everything on the moon has more experience than anything else. But if you can find those particularly great fights, even better.
Yeah, Fantasia up here having some issues with those lunar dragons. The breath has the breath is bad, let's put it that way, even if they're not Malboros.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they freeze you with breath, except less freeze and more crying. Wow, that was a lot of experience just getting from that random encounter. Everyone's getting 2 levels, so it looks like if Simbu isn't in the 50s, he's just about there. So that is definitely good, and he's got all the bosses done on the moon that Vitasia is fighting now. So, and knowing there's nothing in particular there, so it looks like Simbu's probably either going to head to Cave Bahamut next, is my guess, or we'll take that pan and run back to Earth and see how that goes.
I'm telling you, it's a Sheila conspiracy. Sheila may be the true final boss.
Yeah, we think it's Aromas, but it's truly, she's on, we know which side she's on, hoarding that crystal away every time.
Yeah.
We could be fighting the final boss already, but no. Thanks a lot, Sheila. I really am curious to see how Smapty's gonna do with this Ruby fight, because I think that Smapty can do it, but we'll definitely see. He's got the people and he's got the gear.
Just does he have the damage?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, speaking of damage, that double hit of Rubicons is just a little overpowered.
Oh my gosh, Sheila Mus. That's amazing. And thank you so much for the rave. First place winner, Rivers McCown.
And GG's to Rivers McCown. Welcome to our first place finisher.
So we're doing really well here, though. So looks like Arjan did check out Yang and is heading off to check Sheila. But as we know, the pan is on the moon. So...
See, and how did the pan get on the moon? I told you Sheila was the true
That's all
final.
Sheila. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. You may defeat Zeromus, but we all know the truth. This world does not truly... Yep. Cannot. Okay, so Vitasia's turn for the D-Lunar's second time? I think it's the second time at least.
Yes.
Definitely not the first time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see if it's going to be value.
Out Rubicon.
Let's see what it is.
So.
Be something shiny.
This could be.
Not as mean as Wyvern. Oh, and Fu's at full power. That's nice. What do we got?
Oh.
Sword. But again, another free key item, or another key item, not free.
True.
So it does bring you 1 closer to 10, but without that adamant, you can't even get that Excal, which we don't even need, but it is another item shop. But yeah. Interesting. So it looks like, yeah, Simbu is going to do the dive for the underground, so... Let's hope that the pan is the key, because you also get a key item, not just from the pan, turning in the pan after smacking Yang, but you do get another key item in this set of flags from the sylphs themselves. So this is 2 key items.
So we are all waiting with bated breath. We have not, even though we have 3 people that have finished this race so far, we have not even had a scent of the crystal so far.
Nope.
Between the 4 runners, we have no idea where they are.
We're very excited. I really wanted it to be behind Wyvern because I'm a jerk, but
right, exactly.
Let's see where it is. Is it going to be Sheila or is it those naughty sylphs who've got our crystal?
Of course it's going to be Sheila.
Yeah, I think it's Sheila, but I could see it being the sylphs. They look too cute. Oh no, the adamant. That does open up another shop though, just in time to not need sirens if they are there. Yeah, most folks though, unless they have Cecil or it's in the Forge the Crystal set of flags, which this is not, are not going to bother. They're just going to use it as an extra key item and progress on. Okay,
Alright, moment of truth here for for Simbu. I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy by Sheila and Yang, because you notice how he just kind of hides out in the underground for the rest of the game.
Freddy does. He knows the truth.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, and it's not a conspiracy. Like there's no truth being hidden. We know it's Sheila. We know it. Trying to give away the tower key. She accepts no substitutions. Oh, it's not Sheila. Oh,
magma key. Are we gonna have to find the Mist Dragon?
Telling you, value in Cave Bahamut. We have not checked Cave Bahamut. No one has checked Cave Bahamut yet. There are also, where else do we have? Yeah, there's not many other places that Simbu has not checked. So, other than Cave Bahamut and D-Mist, oh my god. If it's D-Mist hiding somewhere ridiculous, that would be pretty funny too. Time for the moon again. Yeah. Value. Oh, he's going back under. Oh, have we checked the tower key yet? I forgot we didn't check the tower key.
No, nobody's checked the tower key yet.
Okay, cool. So, it makes sense to check Sheila first, but yeah, it's tower key. Yeah, I don't think it's value. I think it's tower key. Sorry to let you down, Skulla, but I think it's tower key. D-Mist and 4 Fiends, that would be fabulous. No one has checked though we have had people on the Giant, no one has checked the bosses in the Giant.
That's
so
true.
It's still a possibility. Also, I love how Twitch thinks D-Mist is a link. I'm sorry.
Yes.
A link to our future, but maybe the past even, but not to the internet. Okay, let's see how Smapey does with the grind fight. Again, in this particular set of flags and how this seed is played out, the grind fight just seems to be the obvious option, other than Simbu's choice of fighting all the moon bosses instead. Aww, it's Dark Elf.
Alright, so Arjan is found that Valvolus is at Bahamut spot, so luckily he does have Kane, so Kane can stop the spin.
Yeah, Val's mean in basically every spot as far as I'm concerned, but yeah, this is not a nice spot. But we're gonna see. That could be, again, it could be what Arjan needs to catch up again if he can manage this, and it's the crystal, because this is one of the few spots left. Do I want to know? No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, and Hippos is finished in 4th place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 46 minutes, 47 seconds. So GG's to Hippos as well. Where is the crystal?
Oh, I'm saying tower key. I'm calling it.
You're calling tower key? I think it might be over here on Bahamut.
Yeah, okay, I like it. I like it. I like the way you think. Let's see. I'm hoping for Argent that it is in Cave Bahamut, that we've got value, but I'm going for the tower key.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, and for your record, Zilch was 3rd, Justin. Yeah, and Argent's doing pretty good with Val here, so it might actually be a good spot for Val, because sometimes, even though you get a mean boss in a hard spot, just the way that the stats work out, make it so that that particular boss is actually okay. Like, you know, low magic damage on a boss that's fully magical and things like that. Or high magic damage on a boss that doesn't use any magic.
There it is.
Oh,
you called it. Tower key it is.
Got it.
Crystal is on the Tower of Babel, and Simbu probably going to be making a beeline right to Troya. Oh no, he's going to get his adamant armor first.
I certainly would, but got the levels and everything, so all you need is that.
And Chokosura has finished in 5th place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 48 minutes, 22 seconds. GG's to Chokosura.
Yeah. Excellent. So, but it looks like Simbu is going to be the first of our crew to make it to the moon, and so there is going to be something a little more magical here. Do you want to talk about the ever wonderful Z flag?
But it's silly.
It's the best.
The Z flag is the best. So, how many different sprites do we have? If you turn on the Z flag, it will just have a random sprite in place of Zeramus's default sprite. And as the website itself said, this flag is silly, but it is also awesome. Yeah. So, whose butt are we going to kick today?
Absolutely. So unlike you don't have a choice with the music, that will always be randomized. But if you're someone who doesn't like fun, then you can actually turn off the Z flag. And we don't judge, but
yes, we
definitely be a little disappointed. We're not mad, we're just disappointed.
Indeed. 250 plus sprites, says Shala Kitty. Amazing.
Yeah, and that's all thanks to Scala Kitty. For those who are not familiar, our main programmer Boardface did start the process with a good 50 plus, and then Scala just came in and said, "I can help you with that," and away she went. And I'm still hoping. So whose butt do we want to kick today? I, as always, am voting for Ultros.
Ultros is good. I like Waldo. Waldo is always good.
I've just seen Waldo so many times for someone who's supposed to be hiding so well. And just before we get started, we have had our 6th place finisher with Night Dew with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 40 seconds. So with that, let's see whose butt we're going to be kicking today.
We are waiting patiently for the reveal. But of course, someone is going to have to use the crystal first.
Yeah, HPs are looking good, though. Porum and Palom probably, but Porum especially, unless they can get some good nukes on that Big Bang, it's not going to last for very long. But
not so much.
Let's see how this goes. I'm so excited. Come on, Ultros. 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 Oh my god.
We're going to kill Half-Life 3. I thought Valve had killed it already.
Oh gosh, yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think Half-Life 3 could die any more than it's already been killed, but boy, are we gonna put the effort in.
No, I'm sorry, I got that back. Valve just killed all of our hopes and dreams. But
we're getting payback.
That's right.
So what Simbu is trying to do there is, if in the first turn you can get a nuke off on Zeromus unreflected before he gets a Big Bang off, it does actually nuke the amount of damage his Big Bang does. And for every Big Bang after that, you have to get one in, or an equivalent type spell, after his last shake before the Big Bang. Otherwise, it does huge damage. So most people I know don't bother to nuke it past the first one, but where the first one is so free, most folks definitely try and get that free damage, or free thing. It's still pretty high all the same, though.
Yeah, but fortunately for Simbu, all of his characters did survive it. Including Porum and Palom, who each have less than 2,000 hit points. Usually 2,000 is about where you want your characters to ensure that they will be able to survive Zeromus.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you're going to notice Simbu doing, especially with all these magic casters, is going to be doing a lot of bouncing of spells. And there's a double reason for that. The first one is Zeromus won't counterattack any bounce spells. And second, there is an HP refill that Zeromus does in order to give him the illusion of more HP. But reflected spells do not trigger that HP refill. So if you can do enough damage with those reflected spells before and get him over to phase 3, you can just skip that HP refill and make this fight a lot quicker. So yeah, definitely what he was going with all those magic casters. Poor Kane's probably going to take a dirt nap, though.
Yeah, doubt there's any way he's surviving this. Nope. And so does Porum. So Porum and Kane both scraping their face on the asphalt there. Ooh.
Yeah, though thankfully with the characters they have, it's totally doable. Playing it a little close here, but if you can just if Simbu can just bounce a couple more spells there off, it shouldn't be too much longer, honestly, to get Zeromus to Meteo phase. And even though Meteo is quite dangerous from any other character in any other fight, it is a joke in this fight, and you want to see Zeromus casting Meteo, because it means you're in last phase. Yeah.
You have less than 10,000 hit points to go.
Oh yeah, getting that heal in time. That is great. So Vitasia, just to give you an update on everyone else, Vitasia is still on the moon, just getting his Gungnir. Smapty is doing the D-Machine grind still, and Argent is on the moon, hopefully about to get his Gungnir as well. And no, that's not correct. Meteophase will always happen, but it is possible that you will also kill Zeromus so fast you don't technically see it. But it might be the second phase you skip, but Meteophase is the third phase, and you don't skip it, but you might get to there and then kill it before it's too gone. So as far as I understood, yeah. I thought you'd still see Meteophase. I could be very wrong on that, but my understanding was
Simbu here. He's down to a mop.
Well, if he can get a mop up and life 2, there is redeeming this. Oh, he's just gonna YOLO.
No, he's going for it. YOLO. Again, Simbu seems to be one of those people that can do math where I cannot. That is correct. GG's
oh my
Simbu.
God.
That is it. Simbu finishes in 7th place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 54 minutes, 52 seconds, and dat math. That's all I can say, dat math.
Wow, yeah, let's see if we can get Simbu in here for an interview. Oh, it has been clarified by a trusted source that Meteo is only post-refill, so thank you very much for correcting that. I learn something new every time I commentate.
And of course everyone's saying Half-Life 3 confirmed dead now, because it is. And we have Simbu here. I'm going to go ahead and pull him in. Simbu, GG's 7th place finish, first of our 4 featured runners. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what did you think about that one, huh?
I feel bad for, I think it was Argent, for trying to do their first seed as a race and restreaming, and this was not a kind seed for something like that.
No, I will note for being the first community race for Argent, he's doing great actually. So
I agree.
He's definitely doing better than my first community race was.
Without a doubt. So one more question. I'll turn it over to Natara. But Simbu, is Natara allowed to roll seeds anymore?
The answer is no.
I mean, I finished, so I guess so, but...
Tactful answer. I like it. My question for you, and I think the question for everyone here, tell us about that Zeromus fight. Were you actually counting damage there, or were you just really hoping that was the last hit?
I knew that it had to be really, really close. I'm kind of surprised that the virus didn't kill. It felt like it should have been dead by then, but... I don't know. Foo's nukes weren't doing that much damage for having an adamant on. It was really weird, and I don't like 28 agility anchors, especially in an all-mage party, so it was not ideal scenario, but I kind of was weighing the odds of there's a really good chance I kill right now, or a medium chance I might get Rosa up in time, but probably not, and then I wouldn't even get a chance to throw another nuke, so I thought I might as well make the last-ditch effort.
Okay, that's what I had hoped. We're like, is he that good and is actually mathing, or is that just a, well, let's try it, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, I gave you credit for the math, so kudos to your honesty. And by the way, you killed everyone's hopes and dreams by finally killing Half-Life 3 for good. But but when Half-Life 3 finally went down, I said, "Oh my God, the math!" And okay, but applaud your honesty.
I mean, I wasn't doing the exact math, but I knew internally after killing Zeromus many more times than I like to admit, it had to be really, really close. And I was thinking it's 80 to 90% chance that this kills. But my chances are far lower if I try to revive or heal or something. So
Probably very true, but that was definitely clutch. Let's or at least. So what about Dark Knight Cecil gating the underground?
I felt really unlucky about that because I technically could have done it my first time. All I had to do was throw the elixir with Rosa, but I thought, oh, he might not hit as hard as I was thinking, and I might have time to go through my inventory with someone else because I just wanted Rosa to do a little bit of a heal, and I was hoping she would go before the wave, which didn't happen, but then have someone else go after the wave to top them all the way off with whatever was in my inventory, and got a little unlucky there, but I don't think it was that bad since we had Sid. If you didn't have an elixir or pure 3, I feel sorry for you, but...
Yeah, absolutely.
I suppose you could have also grinded until Rosa learned Cure 3, and then that would have done it just as well, but... Yeah, he's probably one of the nastiest bosses at that spot because he's just so fast and he hits you 3 times all your party and just done.
Yeah, absolutely. But you definitely nailed that, so excellent job and really great showing there. Any last words you want to say?
I just felt like there was not a lot of value on the Earth today. And going up tower and getting mega nuked by Wyvern, and it's like, this is the lowest magic spot in the game, and you're still hitting me for 2k. My Rosa almost lived because I guess she dodged one of the ticks from mega nuke and only took 1k, but the second time it was full 2k again. So
yeah. The danger of the Zeromus fight. Sometimes you're fine, and then sometimes he goes, you know what, I'm just going to roll a little bit higher today, and you're like, ouch.
But yeah, I was starting to get worried there because I thought either Ruby or Wyvern could have a key item chain that went into Luca and then Baron, and if that happened, that would explain all the finishes, and I was getting a little bit nervous, but when Tower Key gave me my crystal, I was very happy.
Absolutely. Oh, well, great. Well, thanks. Yeah. No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, meanwhile, Vatasia has somehow hacked the time, and he's back down to 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Vatasia's just that good.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us, and congrats on your finish there.
Yeah, thanks guys, and have fun with the rest of the race.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll do our best.
Talk to you later.
So
Okay.
meanwhile, Vatasia is headed up Tower of Babel. Wow.
Yeah. Does he have any? He does have the tower key, so that means Vatasia is looking like he is going to be our next person heading towards Z. Don't know if he's actually gone into the tower yet or not. I didn't actually see that. Into the tower area, I mean. But if he hasn't, he can catch it on the way down.
Wonder if Vatasia is prepared. I don't know if he's been here already. I wonder if he's prepared for a Wyvern.
Yeah, well, we're gonna find out shortly. Who is really prepared for Wyvern? Let's be real.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, nope.
And
Fu dodged it.
Mrs. Fu, yeah.
And everyone else had enough HP, they survived.
That was impressive.
Okay, perfect. And I do have confirmation that he did not go to the cannons yet, so he'll do that on his way down. How folks routes the tower change. Some folks like to do the tower key part on their way up, and some do it on the way down. So, because if you do the first, if you go to the top first and it's the item you need, you don't need to waste your time with that other boss. So, the logic's certainly there.
Oh, and Fu is out of those delicious magic points. He does have enough to cast a Quake, though.
Well, that should be enough. As long as you've got Rosa with the healing at this point, there you go. Yeah, having those extra levels definitely doing him a service.
Indeed. We have had 2 other runners finish We have had Quadrak finished in 8th place at 2:03.12, and Error in 9th place with 2:03.57. Nice close finish there between the two of them, and GG to both of those runners.
Yeah, definitely getting some decent times on what seems to be a not very nice seed. You're so welcome, everyone.
Thanks, Natara.
That's what I do. I just gotta prove that not only Scala has terrible flags. We're a team here. We're Team Awful Flag. Okay, so Dark Elf actually holds the crystal this time, so that's always nice.
Well, Argent having a bit of trouble here with the Lunar Dragons, which is about par for the course for all of our runners here. Not an easy... However, they are to the point where they are now virusing themselves, so...
That's always a good strategy.
Yeah, when the bad guys kill themselves, it's very fun.
Let's see where else folks are going. So yeah, basically of Smapty and Argent, it's gonna come down to who finds the tower key and then leaves with it next.
Heck, I even forgot where the tower key was.
Me too, actually. Oh, right there, we found it.
Right there, yeah, right there with the package. Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I think we got that first, and then some went the other way and got the pan. So depending which direction you went first, depended on which of the items you got. So interesting to see whether he will keep going or whether he'll go back to the Earth. We know that there's value now in just going back to the Earth and getting that crystal, but the beauty of randomizers is nobody else knows that.
Except the people that have already finished.
Exactly. Yeah, and then they've been freed from their suffering.
You're all free now.
You're free. So
and there we go. Vitasia is in go mode.
Especially with all that grinding as well. So Vitasia is legit just safe unless he wants to go pick up that adamant, if he hasn't already, to head right up and go fight Z. Which it
doesn't look like he will not.
No, and that's fair. It does help, but it helps more in the rest of the game than it does for Zeromus. But again, still the best armor in the game, so it doesn't hurt to have that adamant armor. But with his levels, yeah, everyone's up to like 57 at this point, so...
Yeah, adamant's best armor in the game, and it's not even a competition.
Yeah, not even. Okay, oh, still has those... Yeah, we'll have a couple of agility silver apples there. Agility apples, if only. But and no, yes, not even.
Commentary can get you tired. I'm sorry.
What? I don't know what you mean. Party in the commentary channel. Woo woo.
That's right. And as a record, I've only had one scotch this commentary stream, so...
What?
But, yeah, I know, right? But Vitasia about to set a new world record here.
Yeah, really. We'll have to ask Vitasia how they did that.
Yeah, impressive.
It is. So, got our mom bomb fight going on here with Argent, and it looks like Smapty is heading down, so... let's see which boss he fights next.
And we have had our 10th place finisher. Now with Akir has finished in 10th place, 2:07.51. GG's to them.
Yeah, I will note there's quite a lot of people entered in the race today, so still a lot of folks to go, which is fabulous. Those are always the fun ones. The ones you enter thinking, oh, these flags should be decent or easy, and then you're welcome. Okay.
Yeah, well, a K2 can always be, can always mess with you.
I'll admit, I rolled my own K2, League flags, just Wednesday, and they were equivalently mean. I gotta make other people roll my flags. Okay, so take 2 for Half-Life 3, Miss. Let's see how it goes. Oh, getting good use now. This is where we're going to see a different strategy because we have less of the magic attackers and more the physical attackers. So probably going to get some really good use of those Bacchus wines.
So I don't know what weapon Vitasia has for Sid. I believe we've got a cat claw for Yang, which is very helpful. But not a clue what weapon Sid has. Yeah, Yang doing very respectable damage there.
Yep. Definitely want to see that, and Kane will be doing great damage with those multiple lovely spears we found.
Indeed.
And we'll have a nuked Big Bang, which will be glorious.
He's got a rune axe, so pretty good.
Very nice. Yeah. Is there a better weapon that he can have? Really? Because I know there's the ongoing and ever eternal. I think it's Poison Axe versus Rune Axe. Which one's better? Because one is more accurate than the other, while the other does more damage. But other than that debate, is there a better set of weapons for Sid?
I know Sid can make a pretty good archer, but I don't know, even if with an Artemis bow, if he can get, if he can do better than the axe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smapey giving the Lunar Dragons a shot here. Oh no, and gets a holy or white spell reflected. And what did Palom ever do to deserve that?
Let me count the ways. No, joking, we love Palom.
It's true. Well, yeah, because you don't have to listen to anything he says in a randomizer.
No, you do not.
That's the only reason everybody likes him.
Yeah, you tend to like different characters between vanilla and randomizer for sure. But yeah, we're getting the Berserk strats here for Vitasia. Looks like not even bouncing spells, just direct casting them with Fu. And Rosa, Rosa's doing that, doing white as well.
I mean, he's got.
No, there is one.
He is reflecting. There we go.
Good. That's definitely much better. You don't get those counterattacks.
Yeah, and Zeramus counters white with weak, so that could be an insta-kill if Big Bang has already been cast.
Absolutely, yeah. You definitely want to be careful using white in this fight, using it directly. Nuke at least is just a counter nuke, which is still gross, but not like weak gross. Depending on who it hits. Sometimes it hits the person who has wall ups. So, definitely see how this goes.
Alright, so Smapey heading into the fight with the Lunar Dragons here, like for a second time at least.
Yeah.
But
better this time.
Yeah. Once he gets that, it is Tower Key, Crystal, and right back up to the moon.
Love that noise.
Pew pew pew. And there we go.
So Vitasia finishing in 11th place with 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 11 seconds. So GG to Vitasia, and we are going to get him in for an interview.
Outstanding.
Outstanding. Yes, with the world record.
Yes, definitely. That's the first question I'm going to ask when he comes in.
Beautiful. Well, welcome.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Well, we've got to know, Vitasia, you have accomplished a feat that will never be equaled. You have completed a Final Fantasy IV free enterprise seed in under 12 minutes. How did you do it?
I did it by accidentally hitting that. My timer key is real close to my
I find it amusing that you did it like almost exactly like 2 hours in, so it worked out really well that way. Though I do want to just cut in and say Scratch Dragon has finished in 12th with a final time of 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 30 seconds.
The snipe. I'm fine with that.
Yep, yeah, definitely. But other than your new world record, how did you feel about that?
You know, that early game was really interesting, and I felt really good after the dolls in Tower of Zod, I think it was.
I think that's where they were. Yeah.
It's like I felt like I had a lot of close calls in that early game, and I'm like, ooh, I can count on one hand the number of people I'm confident who would be able to do that early game. And then I just kind of went on a wild goose chase, and that's what this seed was.
You do. Yeah, there's a lot of that in this seed. Just want to point out that Moonblaze Wolf has finished in 13th with 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 59 seconds. But yeah, I felt almost a little bad for rolling that seed. It was not very nice.
You didn't feel bad at all.
No, you're right. I didn't feel bad whatsoever. Especially not about that Dark Knight Cecil.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I have an elixir. Like, I know I can do this. I just have to set it up right.
Absolutely, and I think that actually put you ahead of Simbu for a bit, hitting that strategy. Simbu left because you got there around the same time as each other, and he went and leveled up for a bit and then came back.
Yeah, I was confident. I was like, okay, I know I can do this. I have the party, like I have the tools, I have the talent, but. Yeah, so I was good about that. I felt good about that Dark Knight Cecil. I felt good about the Mega Sisters. That was it. The Mega Sisters were just hitting like trucks. And then the moon happened, and I'm like, what? D-Lunars? What?
Yep, and obviously they ended up being the gatekeepers to the crystal. Well, to the tower key, which led to the crystal. But... yeah, a lot of people hit these lunar dragons as a roadblock. As a matter of fact, Smapey is on about his 3rd or 4th try on the lunar dragons right now.
Yeah, it's kind of an awkward party for that particular spot. I mean, is that vanilla or is that just like French vanilla?
It's French vanilla, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it felt like more HP, and then the breath was just, oh god, why did I not have more heals? But no, I mean, it was a fun seed, and I'm glad we got a little bit of trolley action. I'm also glad I did not do Sealed Cave first, because based on my item tracker, like, that would have been a rabbit hole like crazy.
We were being corrected by chat. That is, in fact, vanilla.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to know, we disclaimed earlier that we had no idea which moon boss was in which spot. So thank you, chat, so much for correcting us. I will have to learn which moon boss is in which spot.
Yeah, but, when you play enough randomizer, you forget what vanilla looked like.
What is vanilla? Don't
tasty.
Understand.
It's tasty, except in this case. My god.
True.
Were there sirens anywhere, or was
Not
the D machine
that we saw? We didn't see them anywhere, and the only shop that did not get checked is the Excal shop. Every other shop was checked, that as far as we saw, and we didn't see a single siren. We didn't even see a siren get picked up anywhere, like even in a chest.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about that. I will say, like, I ditched Tella. Like, okay, I kept Tella the first time for Porum. And then I had a second chance to pick up Porum. I'm like, this could be good. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh crap, if I have to do D-Machine grind, I'm just in a bad shape. And Fu saved me on the moon.
Yeah, I think Simbu did most of his grinding on the moon itself in the lunar subterrane, so I think he actually saved some time there by doing it that way.
Absolutely. And to answer a question in chat, unsure if it's serious or not, but when we say French vanilla, it means it's almost vanilla. It's like the boss ahead or beside or like behind. I think the dolls were actually in the dwarf castle in the Golbez spot. So that would have been French vanilla because they were like the boss behind where they usually are. Same area, but not the exact spot. Perfect. So anything else you wanted to mention or talk about there while you are here, Fatazia?
No thanks. It's good to shake some rust off. It's been a while since I've done an actual run. Usually I'm behind the mic. And thank you guys so much for doing the commentary on this. I look forward to the restream.
Absolutely, and thanks for volunteering to be restreamed.
All right, have a good one, guys.
You too,
Yeah,
man.
you too.
All right, so Smapety has found the tower key, and you gotta think he's gonna get out of here.
I would like to hope so. The pen is still up here, but I'm hoping he's bashed his head against the wall long enough. No, gonna fight that last boss, which makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. If you fought everything else in here, you might as well go to Masamune and see who's there.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Do want to just note, we have had the 2 more finishers since then. We have had Dave UTC has finished in 14th with 2:17.42, and Demarine 2 has finished in 15th with 2:18.39. So GG to the both of you.
Absolutely. And Smapety here with, gosh, Octomammoth at, I believe this is Ogopogo location. God. Tough.
I know where Bahamut sits. Ooh, I keep forgetting that Octomam is actually strong to what? To holy. Yeah, I've seen that before, and it's gross as heck. You're like, I'm gonna do this damaging spell. Why did you absorb it?
But no. But no. Alright. And Arjan does have the tower key, so Arjan is going to go pick up... We think is going to pick up the crystal. Oh, he's going back down to summon monsters. Oh.
Unfortunate. Though, well, hopefully he's strong enough to be able to handle it, but unfortunately not what he needs. But he does have the tower key, so that does give him a step in the correct direction. Just needs to choose to go there. Why does an octopus pop out through crystal floor? I think is the better question.
I mean, that's a little creepy if you ask me. I might turn and run if I saw that.
Yeah, it's pretty magical, but don't worry, we've got Nuke.
I'd just be worried about the radiation and the fallout.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, so Smapety getting the pen, so unless he is going to choose to do Bahamut, which I'm unsure whether he's done yet or not, we're probably going back to the Earth underground, so hopefully straight to the tower key.
So Smapety is heading back. Let's see if he goes straight to the tower, or if he does what Arjan is doing and goes to Rubicant.
Again, with those levels, definitely doable. Oh wow, yeah, it's only the glares which are really going to do anything there. So, and that's easy enough with life potions to mitigate, so I'm sure he'll get through fine.
Why does he keep looking at her like that?
he's just a bit of a creep that way.
Creeper. I mean, he does show off that incredibly sexy leg.
Yeah, well, the leg is too much for some people. They just cannot handle it.
It's true. Or maybe the glare is the reflection off of that sexy leg.
I think that's actually it.
That
it's just
might be
too shiny to look at directly, and if you do, well, you know what happens. But you just can't resist. It's the ruby leg. Come on.
That's right.
Okay, and it looks like Smapety is going for the pen first, getting pen baited. So, hopefully we'll try and do tower key next, but probably we'll try and turn that in first.
Well, Rubicant is proven to be a challenge here for Arjan, but doing well. This is, again, as we said earlier, the highest attack stat in the game. Smapety is heading up the tower, so looks like Smapety will be getting his crystal first.
Yeah, that seems likely. And we do have our 16th place finisher is Salty Fry with a official SRL time of 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 13 seconds.
Yeah, because what good is an unsalted fry?
Accurate. So accurate it hurts.
Yeah. Like, have you ever been to any place, you name the place, and they forgot to salt your fries? Evil.
You just leave.
Evil.
Yeah, you just leave. Yeah.
That's a lawsuit. And I'm an attorney.
McDonald's fries, which have never been, which are not salted, are the worst. Anyways.
You have a constitutional right to salt on your fries. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. And BG Rich 419 in 17th place with 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 51 seconds. Okay, so we are getting that Dark Elf fight here. Always a bit of a laugh. So we'll see what happens. And that will be Smapety, our next person to get the crystal. But they do have to leave first. So let's see. I'm pretty sure he's done the tower once already. And yep, heading right back down. That is excellent.
And Argent getting pan-baited.
Still not too far behind.
No, not at all. Be interesting to see if he goes straight to Sheila or if he does what we all know to be the correct answer and hits up the Tower of Babel first.
Yeah. Definitely be interested. I always do that. I always am so eager to give the to hit Yang. I'm just like, here, have a life potion or whatever's there, and he's like, no, do not want.
Yeah, I could look at all the stuff I have. I have life potions, I have cure potions, I have heal potions, all of this great stuff. Now I'm just gonna smack you over the head with a pan. That's what wakes you up. Fair.
Okay, so that is go mode officially for Smapety. So likely going to beeline it straight to Zeromus, and that's exactly what it looks like he's doing. Fabulous.
Oh no, Argent is getting jebaited with the sealed cave. Oh,
that is the worst. I didn't even. Where was the Luca key?
I do not recall.
I don't even remember him picking that up. Interesting.
Yeah. I saw it sometime, but just don't remember where.
See, our tracker's currently typing. Likely will tell us. Luca key was on the moon. Fascinating. Oh. Intriguing.
The one item that nobody wants because you can't exit out of this dungeon.
Yeah, you can't exit out, and you have to fight a boss to get that item. So, and especially, it'll be in Argent's favor, especially if he's saved outside, because you just run through, check what the item is, and providing it's not what you want, and it's not the demist guarding it,
right.
Then you just run back out. You might get demist baited if it is the demist, because we haven't seen demist, have we?
No, we haven't. So it's highly likely that that it is at this point. Meanwhile, Smapety is going up to kill Half-Life 3 for the third time, so Half-Life 3 Death Cubed?
Yeah, 3 for 3. And Cassidy Moen has finished in 18th place with a final time of 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 56 seconds.
GG. So Smapety heading up here with only one melee character, so I assume he will have Rosa attack, but lots of magic users here. This could be, we are definitely going to be seeing some crystal strats, or reflect strats after the crystal. There we go. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's the Baron key. Oh no, Argent's gonna get debated again.
Oh no! I really, really hope that before doing that, though, he'll run into the tower and do the tower key. There's nothing worse than having that key item and just not checking it.
Yeah.
It's one of the things which I learned with the routing. It's just I'd have a key item, but rather than doing that, I'd get a new key item and I'd check the new key item. And I've learned that is not the way to do it. Check the ones you've got first, and then go from there.
Yeah, definitely reflect strats here. It's going to work out well because White does so much damage to Zeromus, and he has 2 casters who can cast it. So, however, one of them, Fusoya, incredibly limited in magic points, so may not be the best answer unless he's got some ethers that I'm not sure about right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, here's moment of truth here for Argent. If he leaves and doesn't go by Tower of Babel on the way, it's going to be painful. I'm going to hate to see that happen.
I always love watching these fights and seeing that even people with the similar strats, how they play the fight differently, between different party makeups and things. Yeah, that was...
Yeah, the twins taking a dirt nap. Ooh.
Yeah, didn't quite get that heal off in time before that next big bang.
And nope, Argent is gonna head topside. He is getting debated by the Baron key.
Yeah, there's nothing worse. At least with the higher levels, it won't take long to do that. Picking up the adamant armor first, of course. Unfortunately, forgetting that you can't actually use the hook with the underground airship. You do need the OG.
The Enterprise. Come on, this is free Enterprise. Why would you use anything less?
Right? And getting that adamant armor is just going to make Baron even faster. So, we know Baron's going to be a time waste, but at least it shouldn't be a huge time waste.
It's definitely, going to go grab that adamant armor.
Mm-hmm. That's smart in any case, truly.
Yeah. There's never a time where that's a bad decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And Smapty getting lucky on one of the counter nukes, attacking the Yang, who had wall up. So Zeromus attacking himself with that wall. And I want to note that we haven't pointed out yet that even though the sprite for Zeromus changes, the battle mode remains exactly the same. So everything that happens strategy-wise for Zeromus stays the same. It just looks different every time, which is fun.
Those twins keep taking a dirt nap up there on Smapty's stream. This is a difficult party to win with, just because it's so involved, making sure walls are kept up, making sure you have some way to heal everybody, understanding that when you do a Cure 4, if somebody's walled, you're going to heal Zeromus for a couple thousand hit points. So it's much more involved than just berserking a couple of attackers and having your healer just spam Cure 4.
Exactly, and thankfully though that Cure 4 just doesn't do the amount of curing that you're versus the amount you're damaging. So it's something you're willing to take the hit for to have those wall bounces. So that is definitely good.
And when you have 3 characters that can cast life, your risk is much lower.
Absolutely. Yeah, doing well though, even after losing some characters, easily getting them back up again. And if you've got enough levels and the right party makeup and, you know, items help, it can be pretty easy to recover. But sometimes just if you don't pay attention, this fight can be absolutely brutal. I know after watching so many people do it so easily for so long and then trying it myself with the randomizer, I was like, oh my god, I can't beat Zeromus. How am I supposed to finish a seed? But it does get easier because, again, the strategies generally speaking stay the same. So you do learn them and you start playing with them to figure out what you can and can't do and what levels you can manage the fight and which ones you're just like, nope, cannot do. Argent is missing the crystal, which is on the Tower of in the Tower of Babel, and he's got the tower key. He just needs to do it. He just needs to go there, but he's following a separate chain right now. So him getting the crystal, he's running out of places to go. So he'll be there soon.
I can definitely relate. Yeah, particularly with the last seed of the week, the K4 J0 seed this week. Absolutely.
Was it this week or last week?
Oh, it has the new one gone out? Maybe the new one's gone out.
It goes out over the weekend, so if it's still for this week, we shouldn't talk about it. It's still active.
It's no longer. Wait, maybe it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it is
that's
out.
this week's. Yeah.
Never mind. I will keep my mouth shut.
Oh.
And there we go. GG's to Smeepy.
Well, no, we did have Dr. Spin finishing just beforehand, shortly beforehand, with 2:33.30. And Smeepy's final time in 20th is 2:35.45. So let's see if we can't get Smeepy in here for an interview.
Argent just getting debated everywhere. Oh gosh, and it's Plague. At least here it won't be so bad with characters of this level, but
hopefully not. And yeah, Half-Life 3 has died 3 times so far, as was well earned. Hello, Smeepty. Welcome. How did you find that?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, that was I feel like I made a lot of really terrible decisions, but
no,
you know who to thank for rolling that, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
No, you did really well though. Like that was not an easy seat at all, and you did really well with what you had. Oh, I do want to know we have found Paladin Cecil finally, hiding in Baron Castle.
Oh, that's where he was.
Yeah, we're not.
I started getting all of these, holy swords at the end of the game. Like, boy, that sure would be nice to have.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so other than think you didn't play super well, which by the way you did play really well. You just got a little debated in a couple spots. How did you find that? Any particular thoughts on some of the sections?
No, it was pretty straightforward. I kind of felt a little silly. When I first went to the moon to grab Fusoya, I sort of took a peek and saw if there were a couple of bosses that I might have been able to cheese. And after, I think I ran into D-Lunar and Mom Bomb and decided, no, I'm not going to try this. But then there was I think Baron Guards and something else that I had to stop the hourglasses for. But yeah. No, I don't think they dropped anything important. I think Octomam had the item that we actually needed. I'm trying to remember the sequence now.
It was Lunar Dragons.
It was Lunar Dragons that had it. Okay, yeah. So yeah, there was no doing that early.
Yeah, no, there really was not.
And then I don't know what was happening where I just could not get that fight down when I actually went to do it in the end.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't just you. Like every runner had trouble with that. Everybody took at least 2, maybe even 3 times at least for everybody.
Okay, well that makes me feel a little better then.
Yeah, it was not at least the ones on stream. Not fun. Not a great place for those, even if it was vanilla.
Right.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for coming in and checking and telling us about that. Like I say, you did an excellent job. That was not an easy seed whatsoever.
Oh, thank you.
So,
was there the ones that finished first? Did they just dive the moon earlier, or what exactly was their strategy before I hit the VOD?
So we don't know who finished first, or even like in the top 6 or 7, I think. So,
yeah, we don't know where they went and the people did, but on stream, well, Simbu really didn't do a separate grind. He just kind of dove the moon, and then, I think he did Tower of Babel pretty quickly after leaving the moon, but because he did the moon so early, it meant he didn't have to take the time doing an extra grind. So he did not have a D-Machine grind. He just did, he just turned on his encounters for the walk back from the early boss there in the Moon Underground. So in doing that, really helped him a lot.
That is a smart call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely seemed to play out, and Vitasia did the opposite. Did the D-Machine grind early, and that helped him go through the rest of the fights easier because he was just able to clear everything out.
Yeah, as soon as the Darkness Crystal turned up, I was I think I didn't have Fu at that point because Fu was on the moon. I started feeling, well, now I feel kind of bad for kicking Tella out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think part of me wanted to go immediately do the D-Machine grind as soon as I had Fu, go clear a couple bosses to make sure I had weak. And the other part was, well, you got Fu, let's poke around some of these bosses you couldn't do before, and it unfortunately just turned up nothing. So
yeah,
but you never feel bad about kicking Tella out, though.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much for checking in, and
anytime.
Look forward to seeing you in one of the later races.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. Bye. Okay, so it looks like Argent is making progress. He has made it to the Tower of Babel, is fighting Wyvern first, but again, thankfully with these levels, much more of a breeze.
Yeah, still, Wyvern hits hard. Never underestimate Wyvern, but those nukes hurt.
They really do.
Oh, no, they don't. Well, not as bad as I thought they did.
Well, that's good.
Only doing about 700 damage to Rosa there.
Is Rosa who ended up getting the adamant armor?
I'm not certain. Would not be a bad decision to put it on Rosa, but considering that she will end up being your main healer, and who's the one you want to make sure doesn't die is probably your healer.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
All right, one more spot to check. You know, for someone who's running their first race here, I've been incredibly impressed with Argent.
Absolutely.
This race.
Yeah, no, he's doing really well. And again, this has been a very difficult seed in general. And, the fact he's keeping so close, honestly, has just been excellent.
Indeed. I'm glad I'm commentating this one and not running it.
Yeah, definitely. I'd still be going, that's for sure, if I was playing.
Yeah.
But again, the fact you can do almost 100% of the game in under 3 hours, that's just fabulous. Also, we have J Money Motos finished in 21st place with 2:43.26.
GG's to J-Money.
Mm-hmm.
And now Argent will finally have the tower key here, or the excuse me, the crystal from the tower key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whew.
And hey, we just look at these mean seeds and just see another way to have learned something, because you really learn from doing these nasty seeds because they just throw so much garbage at you. You just end up picking up so much. You don't learn from the easy seeds. So again, this is just fabulous.
We say that in the legal field all the time. Easy cases make bad law. So. But yeah, if you're not challenged, you're not really learning anything. So but it looks like Argent will have 16 out of 17 key items. Don't recall where the legend sword was, but
yeah, I remember seeing it and commenting on it, but you're right. I even when I play my own, I have to use like every tracker available because otherwise it's gone the instant I got it. Okay, so probably we'll head straight to Zeromus. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Definitely a good call. Has the levels and everything to do it.
Oh, that's right. The legend sword was at Rubicon, who was at Leviathan spot. So actually, no, I think Argent does have the legend sword then. But it is that time, boys and girls. Or not, you know. Or Argent could be faking us out, giving us the head fake. Heal potions?
Cool.
Okay.
You know how it goes.
Sure. All right, come on, Argent, you got this, man.
We've got faith.
Faith.
Listen, sometimes you're in a store and you just have to buy something.
Sure.
We don't make the rules.
That's right. Or maybe that's one of the store that won't let you leave unless you buy something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Alright, Argent, you got this.
We have faith. And apparently, Smapedy's stream will resume shortly, so if you're worried...
Bon chance, Argent.
Let's do it.
And honestly, I'm almost sick of seeing Half-Life 3 get killed. Nah. Don't know if you ever get tired of that.
Always.
So all of his characters have over 2,000 hit points, so should be able to survive even a non-nerfed Big Bang. Go ahead and berserk up all of his attackers. Ooh, we got a fast. Looks like we got a fast Zeromus here.
Yeah, and that's the danger, and that's where, again, you can get through a lot of this game without worrying about, speed and agility, but that is not something you really want to do for Zeromus unless you are really kind of OP, which most folks are not. But it doesn't mean Argent will not make it through. Let's see how it goes.
He's gonna... Okay, maybe maybe Zero's not as fast as we initially thought it was. That took a couple turns before that big bang came out. Nice and nerfed though, so everybody's still alive.
Yeah, gotta love that early nerf.
I'm surprised that Kane's White Spear is doing so little damage to Zeromus. I would have expected it to do more. But he's certainly got the ability to keep everybody alive while he slaps Half-Life 3-mus in the face.
As you do.
No, because that's just what one does here. Okay, so he is going to use Reflect Strats. He's selected a Star Veil there. Now, one thing you can do here to nerf a Big Bang, it doesn't have to be nuke. It can be virus. It can even be slow. You can even use a Silk Web to nerf the Big Bang. Anything that will trigger a counter.
Yeah, exactly. It's just depending on which type of spell you use depends on the type of counter. So generally speaking, nuke tends to be better because you're doing damage at the same time. But yeah, any of them really do work. Yeah, and I find, unless you have a lot of spellcasters and know you can just pump out that reflect damage really quickly, a combination of reflect strats and berserk strats can really help. You're generally speaking not going to skip that HP refill, but you can pile through the HP pretty quickly even with the refill.
Yeah. So Argent doing good damage here. Not the best. Again, I'm still surprised at how little damage that White Spear is doing. But Yang and Sid both doing very respectable damage here.
Yeah, that one was a little better. But yeah, sometimes it's just the damage rolls not doing it.
And so Argent did choose to use slow with Rosa to try and nerf the Big Bang. Let's see if he gets it off in time.
Yeah, past that first round, it gets really quite tricky to nuke because you can't do it before that shake, but if you don't get it fast enough and try and do it after the shake,
Oh, very nice.
Ooh, very good. You always love that.
Yeah. You had a 20% chance of choosing the wrong one. You got it.
Oh no, Big Bang.
Yeah, everybody should survive that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful. Very good.
It's so pretty when it's nerfed.
Uh-huh. So I gotta admit, Argent running during the that sequence just looked really weird. I was just like, what's happening? I'm blind.
They're being chased by a massive Half-Life 3 logo. That's what it is.
That's what Half-Life 3 does to people.
It does.
Yeah.
And GG's, there it is. Whew. What a seed. Of course, we have you to thank for that, Natara.
You're so welcome.
Argent finishes 22nd place, 2 hours, 52 minutes, 8 seconds. GG's. Woo!
Okay, we're just gonna work on getting him in for an interview there 1 second.
And special kudos, and we'll repeat this if he gets in here. Just fantastic performance for somebody running their first race. I really can't say enough about how impressive that is.
Okay, we're just gonna bring him in there now. Hello, Argent, welcome. GG on that race. Oh, you're really quiet there. So, how did you find that? You did really great job considering it was your first, race there. Is it possible to get a little closer to your microphone? We're really struggling to hear you there.
Yeah.
Very quiet. Oh, looks like we might be having some technical difficulties. Yeah, and he's gonna see if he can adjust there.
It's all good. But ladies and gentlemen, while we wait for Arjan to get back here, we would like to remind everybody, if you what you saw today and do not, consider giving these runners a follow here on Twitch. Also, remember to follow Speed Gaming and all of its family of channels for all of your speed gaming needs. Tons and tons of different games being run as fast as humanly possible here on the Speed Gaming family of channels. You're sure to find something that tickles your fancy. And Arjan is back. Test, test. Can we hear each other now?
Well, we're not hearing you yet. And as chat said, mic issues, the hardest boss. Oh, you're coming through, but you're incredibly quiet, like we really can't hear you at all. Yes.
Sometimes this happens, particularly with Discord, because Discord likes to randomly sometimes select inputs, and you're not certain which which
it's suddenly coming through your coming through your webcam suddenly when you're trying to speak into your microphone, and you're like, why can't they hear me?
Indeed.
Think you tried to speak a moment ago, Arjan? Nope.
Oh, well.
No, looks like it. Yeah, looks like it's might not work out. But yeah, as Ryu was saying, definitely give all of our runners a follow. And we've linked in there not only our Discord, but the actual the website itself. If you want to try out this randomizer, please feel free to just go to the website, give it a try. If you want any help, we do have a fabulous community which you can join in the Discord. Again, races are happening all the time. We've got channels for folks learning. All skill levels are welcome, and we do have our community races both on Mondays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern and Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Come and hang with us, come play, and again, if you can't even make both of those, all times of day there are people looking for races, so definitely come and check it out and come play with us.
Absolutely. Natara, has been an absolute pleasure commentating this race with you. We'd like to shout out Skandranen, our tracker here, doing the job of keeping that tracker up to date for you. That is a commonly an unsung task that is absolutely vital to giving our viewers the information they need to figure out what's going on. So thank you so much to our tracker. And ladies and gentlemen, it has been what a seed. I don't know if I'm ever going to play a seed that Natara rolls ever again.
I wouldn't.
But,
I hate playing my own seeds, for the record, but let's try it once more with Arjan. Arjan, are you here? Third time's the charm?
I think so.
Oh, we can hear you.
There we go.
Yeah, and the hard G is fine. Argent is totally cool.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not actually French or anything.
That's fair.
We thought
That's what I was going to call you. That's what I was going to call you.
Yeah.
It sounds cool.
It's money.
Yeah, I had no idea until somebody online told me.
That's amazing. I love it. Well, how did you think about that? How did you feel about your first race?
Yeah, it was all right. I definitely was hoping to finish a bit sooner. The practice seat I ran last night ran a lot faster, and seeing Rivers done an hour and change before me, I was like, I must have missed something.
No, listen, us mere mortals do not compare ourselves to Rivers McCown. And that was not an easy seed. You did fabulous. You did a really good job. And just so you know, there's still other people racing. You are not last.
That's always good.
Yeah, exactly. No, you did an excellent job.
Yeah, seriously, especially considering that it was your first race, and kudos for having the guts to volunteer to be restreamed on your first race. That's I mean, that you were at the beginning already.
Yeah, I mean, I figured if I'm gonna go, I might as well say hi to peeps and get my face out there, as it were, or my stream out there, or my abilities to play the game with various characters.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great chance to do it. And you're not the first person who's just been like, well, it's my first time, but sure. And it's always great to have you and other folks like that coming and racing with us and being willing to restreamed. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
What was the crystal that was behind the tower key, and the tower key was under which boss was it?
It was the Lunar Dragons.
It was the Lunar Dragon. So I guess somebody just got the tower key and then just was like, "Yep, that's all I need from the moon," or like, how did they finish so quickly?
No idea. We of course, because we had to pay attention to these races for the first like 6 or so people, we legit just didn't even see how they finished.
Oh goodness.
But I know like Simbu, who was the first person on stream to finish, basically just skipped the grind and did the moon instead, and so got levels that way, which really saved him some time.
Right.
So, and other people, like, you got a little debated with some of the items, checking, the sealed cave and Baron.
Yep.
While most of the others, at least on stream, didn't. So things like that, and of course that's just luck. It's just
Right.
It could have been that is exactly where the items were. So it's kind of, you just have to roll the dice, and unfortunately it just didn't quite work out in your favor. But again, you did excellent. So
yeah, I didn't kill Odin, so I mean, hey, I skipped one boss, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Well, thank you guys for having me. It was a great time.
Yeah, and thank you for coming out, and hopefully we'll see you in some of the future community races.
Thank you guys. Thank you for hosting.
Yeah. Talk to you later. Okay, well, thanks again to you. Gotta give the shout out to Fan and Ryu for also commentating with me. That was a huge amount of fun. And once again, shouting out to our wonderful tracker, Scandranen, who just did a fabulous job. Also their first time tracking. So had a really great team here today. So and once again, our next community race will be on one of the Randomania channels on Monday at 9:30 p.m. And we will be back next week on 7 p.m. On one of the Speed Gaming channels. So definitely come play with us, or come and watch and hang out and have a fabulous time.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. See you next mission.
Good night.